On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, the homies will obviously be talking about The Mandalorian Season 2, thanks to the trailer dropping, finally. And within the window Matt predicted last week, so take that, famous leakers and fortune tellers. But before that awesomeness, they'll talk about a new Mos Eisley Lego set and the controversial Darth Nihilus Black Series release. In addition to the Mando talk, they'll also riff on Daisy Ridley's Rey Kenobi reveal and Ewan talking about the Kenobi series. Of course, the fan segment will play out before the show ends to tackle this week's fan question and our top 5 Star Wars artist fan features of the week. Cue the music. Now, everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Star Wars Time Show. It's Radio Matt, and I'm here with Radio Nick, and we're doing the Star Wars Time Show. Home. And why am I chanting, you may ask? Well, if you have to ask that question, clearly, you are not attuned to the Star Wars Force today, because we've got actual Mandalorian Season 2 content to talk about. No more bullshit. No more rumor bullshit. No more poo-flinging bullshit. No more fortune-telling. We actually got the damn trailer. And guess what, people? Who told you we would have the trailer before we came back and sat around with our thumbs up our collective asses on the Star Wars Time Show? Me! Fuck those KRT people. Fuck the leakers. Fuck Jordan Mazin. Fuck all these assholes. Oh, hey, the trailer didn't come out because they had to reshoot a scene for it. What fucking scene would that be after seeing the trailer, motherfuckers?
Also, there's no way they could reshoot it because Hollywood's still in lockdown because of COVID.
Come on.
So you can't just get people together to shoot a scene for a trailer.
Come on. I mean, let's go. Start tickling my tits. I did it. I mean, I did it by the skin of my ass. It literally dropped today about 3 hours before we went live with the Star Wars Time Show episode 128. But I told you last week, I was feeling my crystal ball. I put my hand up my ass and threw some Star Wars speculative shit at the wall. And it stuck. So I proved my point. Yeah, the KRT people, sure, they got lucky on that Bad Batch bullshit, but so many bad takes so far. Do they deserve the attention they get? Why do their fans prop them up? Why do their fans fall on the sword for KRT? Where the fuck is SWTS Nation? Let's go! Defend your bros! Get out there! Tell them who called it!
It's like the people of Roanoke. Our fans just kind of mysteriously disappeared one day and nobody knows where they went.
Get some, motherfuckers. That's what I'm talking about. And of course, I had to go on Reddit today, in the Leak subreddit, to see what the lemmings were saying, to see the praise or the tongue lashings all these leakers were getting. And sure enough, people were defending them like, hey, guys, don't be mean. I mean, out of 1,000 hot takes, they got one right. I guess that's good enough, right? They're still reliable. Fuck you. Where the fuck is Star Wars Time Show? Come on! Sick of this shit. I'm sick of looking at these assholes getting thousands and thousands of views on their live streams, and they're fucking assholes. So are we, but at least we're entertaining assholes, and we don't try to fucking pull wool over your eyes like we know something. So there's your opening eat a dick segment. Thank you. All right, sorry about that. I was just worked up. I always like to rub people's noses in shit when I know I am right. I'm that type of a piece of crap. But those of you that, you come around, you know this already. So, Nick, how's it going, buddy? I mean, I know, let's really not get too deep into your personal life because it's always a touchy subject. But in terms of like your Star Wars life, do you feel good today? Is there a little bit of sunshine in your life right now?
I mean, it is. It's a good day. We finally got to see the Mando trailer, so that was pretty awesome. I've watched it 3 times already, so top-notch work there. I'm about 100 pages into the Thrawn Chaos
you
Rising
motherfucker,
book.
Bossajan already finished it, and he's not even a Star Wars Time Show host.
Hey man, look, I read when I get the call to read, and I will say that the book is very good. So far it's really good. It's really cool how it kind of shifts between memories. So part of the time when you're reading the book, you'll have a chapter that is dedicated completely to like past memories from Thrawn, whether it be when he first got adopted by the Myth family. So this is something, you find out a lot about Chiss culture and how the ascendancy works and politics and their military life and everything like that through these memories. So it's really cool to read those.
And you're reading it like you're doing the full on words and page flipping.
Yeah. I have a book with physical pages that I am reading.
Do you put your finger under the words and shit?
Yes. Okay. Follow along like this. So I'm not doing an audio. I mean, like if I was doing an audio book, I would have
you'd be done.
Just listened to it all the way through on the first day.
Well, what do you listen to outside the Star Wars Time Show, bud? I mean, come on.
I mean,
throw that shit on. I mean, what are you doing while you're playing Ghost? Throw on some Thrawn.
I've tried to do audiobooks in the past, but like my attention wanders.
Gotcha.
Like I can't give it my full attention because like I'm listening to it and then I start thinking about something else and something else and something else. So
you're basically saying you're a Star Wars Time Show fan then?
Exactly.
Where your attention wanders from the show and you don't really like it. You just kind of put it on as white noise, right?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's just in the background. So I would rather physically read the book.
All right. Hey, speaking of fans, guess who showed up today? I think this is a first. He might have dipped in at the tail end of the last one, but True Perry.
Oh,
True
there we go.
Perry. I mean, I have like Tourette's with his name. I can't. It's like figure fucking hurts. True Perry. I got to do the long U on that, but hello there. He gave us a Kenobi. So
welcome to the. I know that True Perry's out in the Scandinavian region. He's like in Finland or Sweden or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that dude basically lives on Hoth, so hopefully he's staying warm.
Very cold.
I'd imagine at this point he's already back into the deep freeze. Hey, thanks for joining along. I kind of threw it out there, Nick, the game we've been playing, and sadly, I completed Ghost since last week. I finished it. I did not get the Platinum Trophy. I think I still have to collect a few banners here and there, but that's not really my bag these days.
Yeah.
But hot damn, that game is a gem, like we've been saying. I highly recommend it to anyone that hasn't picked it up yet. I easily dumped, I'd say 50 hours, if not more. And it's one of those games where even after I beat the final boss, if you will, it kind of opens up a little bit of an epilogue, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I even took my time on that. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna dabble in it. And I'll save some for Saturday game session and Sundays. Like I couldn't let Ghost go.
Yeah,
Lord Jin Sakai, Nick, has become. Let's just say I want an action figure, and any collector will know what I'm talking about. But anything in pop culture, if it kind of leaves a lasting impression on you as a collector, you typically want to immortalize it. You don't want to let it go in a sense, so you want to collect something from it. And I now want a Jin Sakai action figure, and I looked it up. And guess what? They are making one. I think it's going to be from Figma.
Really?
It looks like it's going to be 1/12 scale, but there really hasn't been any updates on it since Sony and was that Sucker Punch announced the toys a few weeks back or a few months back. Because I guess there's a Lord Sakai Funko. There's a Lord Sakai statue, but I want the figure so I can pretend that I'm going to take a picture of it. When in reality, I'll just like all my other new toys I got over the past week, it'll just lay on my fucking desk.
Yeah, I mean, I've finished Act 1, and then after I finished Act 1, for those of you who've played it, and Matt, it opens up like the next area to the north of you, and I didn't even go there. I just went back down into the region where Act 1 was all taking place.
To get any open
shit there.
To get any open question marks, right? It's like once those things pop up on the map, I'm like a cat following catnip or something. I'm like, oh, I should be going this way, and just immediately turn around. There's a fucking question mark. It could be a haiku spot.
Yeah, I mean, and then you're just following these little yellow birds around. It's like, oh, where are you taking me? And it's just, dude, like
the
it's
game,
one of those
man.
games and,
go ahead.
The only other game in this generation that's really had me captivated like this was another Sucker Punch game, and it was at the beginning of PS4.
Second Son?
It was Second Son.
Yeah.
And that's the only platinum trophy I have ever. Because
I was surprised to find in Ghost that to get platinum, there's no difficulty trophy.
That's good.
That used to be
that
used to be a staple because back in my days, back in the my mid-20s, shit, it feels like forever ago now, but in the 2005, 6, 7s when I was hardcore achievement hunter type of shit, that was always like, fuck. To get 100% or get a platinum, I got to beat this game on super duper hard. And we all know, at least those of you that tune into this dumbass show on a weekly basis, that in my older age, my older years, if you will, in my 40s now, I live for story mode if they have it, or easy. And that's how I played Ghost, and I loved it. I mean, I just annihilated motherfuckers. And I'd roll in on a standoff, be like, wagga, 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 and then go through and do my ghost moves on people, cutting their arms off, getting them to fall over because they're so fucking scared, and stabbing them in the heart. But snag this game, man. I mean, if you don't have it, snag it. So I had to find something to fill the gaming void, because I really have, during this lockdown, have kind of reignited my love for gaming. I had such a deep backlog, but there was awesome first-party exclusives for the PS4 that I couldn't let go that were new, like FF7 Remake, Tulu 2, and then obviously Ghost. But I looked at the backlog, and just based on recommendations from the intern, who we may now start calling Rose, by the way. I might talk about that later. That's his name in our Swago guild. So, okay. And I didn't know that until recently. So we may be changing up the nickname for the intern. Where the fuck was I going? I got distracted.
His game recommendation.
Right. So he's always talked about this game. Like, it's in his top 5 of all time. He's like, dude, I can't believe you haven't played this. You're an asshole. So I was like, you know what? Instead of plunking money down on this janky looking 6.5, 7 out of 10 Avengers game, I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to unwrap the box for Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition.
Yeah.
So that is where I'm at now, and I'm only about an hour and a half, 2 hours in, and I'm like, okay, I think this is going to captivate me at least until Deep Fall, when some of the newer falls come out, and then the new consoles.
Horizon Zero Dawn is just like, it's built the same way as Ghosts, where it's an open world exploration based game where you have like side things that pop up that you can go do aside from your main mission. So if you got pulled in by Ghosts, then that'll probably happen with Horizon.
And it's funny because I can't believe this game is almost 4 years old. I mean, that's how long I sat on Horizon. The shit came out in February of 2017, and it still looks amazing, but you compare it to Ghost or Tulu 2, and you can see just in 4 years what technology has done, and really what developers have done learning that technology for games. Because while Horizon is pretty amazing, it's got some jank on it compared to, I mean, Tulu 2 especially, but even to Ghost, which had some visual jank moments as well. But I'm digging it. So that's kind of what I've moved on to. Still peeling through the boys. I don't know. I'm not this season, I guess, because we saw the shock of season 1. It's not as impactful, but I'm through the episode where they at least drive into a whale, and that was a pretty interesting looking gore scene. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, a serious note here. And I hate myself for forgetting this guy's name, and I guess I could look up on my phone. He's not a Star Wars Time Show fan. That's great. I mean, sometimes I put on a show and act like a jerk off and yell at you guys and all this stuff. But I'm a somewhat normal person. Somewhat. That's at least what I have to say on camera, so I don't get locked up. But I was scrolling through the feed on Haywood Pop, and I saw this post by Star Wars. The Black Series. That's the big account, Nick. That is like the feature of all feature Black Series accounts. And he had a post on there about a gentleman in Oregon who sadly lost his entire home in these fires going on. And he's a huge Star Wars collector, lost it all. Every fucking figure he's ever had in his entire life. I mean, looking at the gentleman, he's probably my age or older, maybe in his 50s. So, I mean, we're talking a lifetime's worth of Star Wars items, his whole house, every possession is gone. Fucking toast. Yeah. I think he and his partner made it out with the clothes on their back in their car. And that's it. So, like I said, I don't have the details on our account. I threw up the story. I threw up a post on our story yesterday, so it might have rolled off by now. But if you want to find the details to help this guy out, I believe his name is @MattsOrder66. My advice would be to go to Star Wars The Black Series on Instagram. He's going to have the post there and links to this dude's GoFundMe. But it's just a fucking bummer. I mean, this year is already an ass rape for humanity. And then to have that just kind of come along and kick you in the dick, it's like, Jesus Christ. Hello, magic guy in the sky, do you really exist? Or is this just a fucking sick experiment? So I wanted to get that out there before I forgot it, getting into our other topics.
Yeah, that's rough. So definitely, if you can afford to drop some cash to this GoFundMe, go do that. I will look at it after our show and probably donate some money to it. Even though I'm not making a ton now, any little bit will help somebody.
It's just
it's just like his whole life's gone. It's not just the Star Wars side of it. Like you said, his whole life is gone. His house is completely gone.
I'm someone that I think I've gotten really good at putting myself in other people's shoes. I don't know what you want to credit to God's gift to humanity, the green stuff that grows out of the ground and kind of opens up your mind to other people's lives and situations. But I just kind of reflect on like what it would feel like. And I don't think any of us could actually get to that level of thinking unless it happened. But everything, any pictures you've had, anything on your all your technology, your TVs, your clothes. I mean, if you had kids, their possessions, it's terrible. On top of all the other fucking bullshit going on right now. So, like I said, if there is this magic guy or girl in the sky at this point, just fucking blow us up. Do it. Do what all these religious people tell us you're going to do. Fucking kill us. Please. Break out the big magnifying glass. Melt us like ants. I don't give a shit. Make it quick. We don't need to be here anymore. We really don't. Speaking of Rose, here he is. The intern has just joined the live stream. Welcome. I guess I should tell the story about Rose. So the reason he has the nickname of Rose, and it's for Rose Tico, and it's not because he's an asshole and hates Rose Tico and Kelly Marie Tran. He's not that type of guy. But I believe in this current guild, he came into the guild, and Nick, this is before any of the like big galactic legends where you needed this character. So this guy comes into the guild with a fully like Relic 7 Rose Tico, and people are like, what the fuck type of drugs do you do? And that's kind of how he got the Rose moniker. So you know what? He ended up being the smart one because you need her for fucking GLR, Galactic Legend Ray. So right.
Good move on the entrance part.
Just one other thing on Sugo, an update. I finally got gas, not the type I expel through my mouth and my anus, but General Anakin. Just be forewarned, young Nick. I know you're probably a year away from this one, but
probably
the last phase is a dirty cunt.
Okay.
And I think I got off lucky. Again, I had a fairly relicked up squad, but let's say I probably dumped in close to an hour and a half to 2 hours of straight rolls trying to get the RNG to make it happen. And
good God.
But it happened, so I got gas now. Now it's time to move on to Jedi Knight Luke. We speak your name.
Yep.
All right, buddy. We got a lot to talk about today. The people in the stream, they want to get to the Mando stuff, so let's kind of rip through our that was a weak one. I kind of forced it out. Our low-hanging fruit topics, starting with this big-time Mos Eisley Cantina Lego set that was revealed last week. If you are a Lego collector and you are in their VIP program, which is free, so don't act like I'm special because I'm in it. I just took the fucking 2 minutes to sign up, you lazy sons of bitches. But this thing, you can actually pre-order it, I believe, tomorrow. Or if you're listening after the live stream, it'll be available for Lego VIP on Lego.com on September 16th. I think general release is in October on the site. Yes. But this is a doozy. Nick, this is comparable to the Bespin I built with my daughter last year. I mean, tons of great little minifigures. You're essentially building the entire cantina, and I believe it opens up and you're going to have little scenes within each booth.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure this one's going on the list. My Lego Razor Crest just showed up as we're casting. So the Lego sickness, just like the Hot Toys sickness, is in full swing. I have fully replaced the Funko sickness with 2 other illnesses. Yeah, so it's
two more expensive illnesses.
It's not working out, dude. It's not working out. I mean, we are starting to sell pops, and they are going. We this week we sold about $200 worth of pops, and there's only about 3 of them, so people are actually paying the eBay prices, which is fantastic. So
very nice, very nice. I think this is the time to get them out too, because I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know if pops are going to retain value. Like, people thought Beanie Babies were going to retain value, but
no, I'll tell you right now, they won't. They won't. Only other nut jobs are going to spend the money. But so far, I mean, I've flipped a couple pops. I'm not saying flipping like I bought them. Then I got them. I looked on eBay. This is what they're going for. I listed it, and people bought it. So eat a dick, motherfuckers. They're coming out hot, packed up with their shipping labels on, and heading out there. So Lego set, if you're a Lego fan, keep your eyes out. Again, Lego VIP, you can pre-order it this week.
$350 is the price on this.
Yeah.
So
we got
be prepared.
I think we got a new one joining the live stream here. A Big Amish 69. What is up? If you just listen on the standard podcast apps out there and you ever can join in on the live stream, please do. We like seeing other fans, because, I mean, based on our numbers, we clearly have more listeners than the people that watch the stream.
Yeah, the 11 usuals.
Yeah, so join the peanut gallery here in the live stream. But
sure.
Legos are awesome. I can't help myself anymore. I'm currently constructing the Lego NES kit. As I said, the Lego Razor Crest arrived. I'm getting my Ahsoka Tano 332nd Lego set. The one I can't get, Nick, and I fucked up. I should have just pre-ordered it because I'm a lazy asshole. But, and I don't know any of you else listen there, Lego collectors, especially minifig collectors. The 501st pack, like the cheapest of these new sets in 2020, gone. I mean, it is sold out everywhere. So I'm guessing the army builders just loaded up and got as many little 501 clones as they could get, because that is the one that I wanted from the 2020 releases, which are all now live, by the way. I mean, Nick and I, we've talked about them. There's an ad in there, Grievous's ship, Anakin's ship. But you can't get those 501 clones. So, but I got most of the ones I want, and I probably will be getting this one too, because I'm an asswipe. All right.
Something fun to do.
It is, dude. I mean, I had a friend, like, I don't know if he was trolling me or just being a cocksucker. But I'm building the Lego NES, and I'd send, like, it's a group chat, send them updates. And he's like, I don't get it. What's the point? I said, it's something to do, a feeling of accomplishment, nostalgia. I'm not a handyman per se, so actually building something and using directions makes me feel like more of a man. And it's the fucking NES. Like, I mean, the NES defined my childhood, and it, like Star Wars, shaped me into the piece of shit fuck off I am today.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I build Legos, you motherfucker.
Like, I've only done one, like, Lego complete build ever, and it was probably like 4 or 5 years ago at this point. It was a Lego ATST, and it was very cathartic.
Yes.
Like, if you are a high stress type of person.
Are you accusing me of being high stress?
Not saying, I'm just saying, if there are some of you out there who are
you're right. I am.
Individuals.
I am. I mean, I am someone, and I don't know if it's part lockdown or just my brain is getting worse and worse the older I get, but I mean, these days I can't focus on, like, okay, I have 1,000 things to do like everyone does. And I know if I, like, just dedicate an ounce of my brain, I could go knock some shit out, but I'll start almost meandering through the house. Like, oh, should I do this? Should I do toys? Should I do grading? Should I do Legos? But with Legos, it's like, once I can just sit my ass down, I could do that for 3 or 4 hours straight, just like plunk, 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 putting all the bricks on and really seeing what you get. And the Nintendo is wild. I mean, I've built the the console lower half, and literally it has a working disk drive that actually sticks when you push on it and pops back up when you pop on it. You have to build all that, so it's neat. I'm seeing 1/6 shooters in here. He's a Lego guy too. I mean, this motherfucker between Legos and 1/6 scale, I'm blaming him for my new collecting avenue streams. Like update, by the way, I did go ahead and pull the trigger on the final 2 Mandalorian 1/6 scale figures, so I now have the whole fucking wave of 1/6 scale Mandos. That is insane. That is stupid. Nick, I added up all the 1/6 I have in my cases now and all the ones I have pre-ordered. I could buy a fucking vehicle. I'm not fucking kidding. I could have bought a fucking vehicle. Like a real thing, insane. You put gas in and it drives you around.
Yeah, like a usable car. But
like, what the fuck? But I love it. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is the conundrum of collecting. You love the shit. It's a sickness. You do enjoy it. You get something out of it. And some of us actually like extend it with the picture things. But sometimes when you look back at your collection and you put a price tag on it, it's hard not to go like, oh my God, what have I done?
Now you know, if you ever get into a pinch, you could literally just eBay those motherfuckers off and be like, all right, now I can have a down payment for a car.
But that's the problem, Nick. It's not like we're buying gold bars, dude. I mean, you got to find other Haywood Pops, 1/6 shooters out there that are willing to buy these things secondhand. They're really not. And he's in here like, oh, you should get into Mezco too. Guess what, Trevor? I already am from you fuckers. So, I mean, the Funko Pop stuff at this point was like preschool collecting. And I dropped thousands of dollars there. Now I'm in the big leagues and it's starting to get scary. I'm talking like losing meals. My kid is in no way getting a post-secondary education, and we may have to start actually living in my tent instead of a house.
There we go.
Anyways,
yeah, man, it's fucking crazy once you kind of get your first hit of that collecting kind of, drug, then you're stuck on it. Yeah, it's hard to break. And then it compounds. Like you said, it starts with Funkos, and it goes to 1/12 scale, then it goes to 1/6 scale, then it goes to Legos, and it goes to everything else.
That was my progression right there. Yes. And it's not like I pick cheap shit to collect. I'm not like collecting fucking coins I find on the ground that have COVID-19 all over them. No, I got to buy high-end, expensive little pieces of Barbie dolls. Yeah.
Well, you got another piece of, not quite expensive Barbie doll to collect coming up from GameStop.
It is for 112, and that what he's talking about is the Darth Nihilus figure that GameStop offered up for pre-order last week. And Nick and I we kind of talked about this. He was probably coming. I think we more than likely probably got that lead from X-Clue magazine, but they dropped Darth Nihilus. You can pre-order him now. I don't know if he's gone. I'm assuming he's still available because the reaction from the community is this guy sucks. All right?
Tepid. I mean, you said it all with the name. You didn't say Darth Nihilus you said Darth Nihilus. And for me, as an outsider, like I posted this up, I shared it to our Discord followers, and everybody. I was like, oh, look, Darth Nihilus is coming out for me. I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. This is from, KOTOR 2.
Nick started getting the pitchforks thrown at him like, who the fuck are you to say this is cool, you idiot?
Yeah, and they were like, dude, it's just Darth Maul with a different head sculpt. I was like, okay, well, there we go.
Well, here's what it is. It really is a Frankenmash of figures. And I do think they frayed the front of Maul's smock or whatever. But the arms, I believe, are Darth Vader arms.
Oh goodness!
Because you can see kind of the ribbed, the ribbed pattern there, and then they jammed a nice little cheap little soft good cape, and gave us the old plastic hood over Nihilus's cowl there. So there he is. I'm sure most people that bitched about him still bought him. Collectors are assholes like that. I pre-ordered it just because, again, at this point, I think I have OCD. I mean, it's beyond just, do I like these? It's a new figure. I need it. Am I going to do anything with it? Probably not. I mean, I've got the new Phoenix Squadron guys, the new Bounty Hunter guys, still in fucking boxes. I don't even take shit out now. That's how sloppy my collecting and trying to get them into shooting has become. But But yeah, he's out there. Say what you will. I still assume most people will collect them. Completionists will have to. You got to do it. Got to collect them all.
See, I know that some of the guys, some of the collectors out there were saying that they're hoping for a Darth Scion, because with Scion, you really can't just cobble him together from other pieces.
He would have to be a brand new sculpt, because I mean he's shirtless. Yeah. Knowing Hasbro though, they probably just take like a Luke figure and take a lighter to it, right, and just kind of like burn it up a little bit. Yeah, and then poke one of the eyes out and be like, "Yeah, this is Scion."
Here you go, Darth Scion. Take his hair off, and there you go. But
speaking of that, Nick, I don't know if you saw it when you were scanning for top 5. Sorry to cut you off, but I found a new account, and I'm sure some of our fans have known about this account. But he prototypes like Dream Black Series figures.
Okay.
And he does them. I think it's all digital, and he does them in this style with the black backdrop and the Black Series logo there. But he has a version of Scion. He has his version of Nihilus. I believe the one I shared was his HK-47. And holy hell, like just print what this guy's putting out for these figures. I mean,
to me, that's what would make the most sense in the Gaming Greats line, because it seems like they're pretty scattershot with what they release. Like you get a Jedi Knight Revan, then you get a Purge Trooper, then you get a Death Trooper, or some sort of like Black Stormtrooper variant, then you get Nihilus. Like, why not just pick one game, like pick KOTOR 2, and say like, all right, we're going to give you Nihilus, we're going to give you Traya, Scion, and then complete a set,
right,
and then move on to another game.
Do a wave, like we should have the full triumvirate.
Yeah, exactly. So like, while this one, like if we knew though that we were going to get a Scion and a Traya, then while this figure looks, shitty and like a mashup, you were saying, at least we would know like, okay, well I get this one and then the other two come out and then I have the whole run and then I can do some cool shit with it. You can have a cool setup with all three.
Yeah,
of them
and even on the good side, let's get a Bastilla, let's get Karth,
Jolie, something, I think that would be the better way to do it. But then again, what do I know? GameStop is a highly successful company that will never fail.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean, dude, they're done. It's over. Like this upcoming generation of consoles, it's over. I mean, Sony more or less was like, fuck off, right? The discless shit. What do you need a GameStop for if your console doesn't accept media?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't. You don't. There's the answer.
I mean, it literally shoots the whole used game market in the face.
Yeah, it's over. Like that really will be something gamers, hell, even 5-10 years from now will be like, man, you guys used to be able to go and get money for your old games. Yeah, they weren't just installed on your drive. They weren't just a digital file. And be like, yeah.
I mean, I think that's like, if you like, consoles are starting to follow PC, because that happened to PC a while ago, where it's like, oh, you have a physical PC game, like a disc PC game. Like I haven't had, the last physical disc PC game I bought was the orange box, like from Steam.
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
Team Fortress 2 and Portal and then something else.
I'm trying to think. I don't buy PCs. I buy Macs, so they're all self-contained anyways. But these days, do you, like, if you're going to go shop for a rig, would you throw an optical drive in it?
No.
Like a Blu-ray or a 4K drive or something? I mean,
because I have a disc drive in the one that I have now, but it's only because I'm still using it from a previous build. And the only reason that I have it is because if I ever need to, and at this point you don't need to, like my Windows 10 is on a flash drive. So if you ever need to reboot and you have the physical disk for your Windows, like whether it be Windows 7 or whatever it is, then that's the only reason you would need it. But now you can do full OS installs without a disk.
Yeah.
You can do driver, like it used to be you need it for your OS, your drivers, and then that was basically it once the games were gone. But now you don't even need it for that. You can get everything online. Like it's just, there's no reason to buy a PC, whether it be a laptop or a desktop, with an optical drive in it. You just don't need them.
I mean, Apple, they're always dicks, and they kind of get ahead of the time, and they cut out optical drives in their laptops, I think, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
iMacs, clearly they don't have drives. That's what I've been using. It's just
my regular PC laptop. It's a Dell that I got probably 3-4 years ago.
No drive. It's weird because I mean, when I graduated college, I went to work in IT in the real world, not academia like I am now. And it's just even since then, I mean, that type of media was so prevalent. I mean, it's like, we got to install this patch, this. There wasn't downloading and getting shit. You needed discs and you had to save shit to discs. You remember burning CDs or even burning Blu-rays? It really is a technology. I guess when I was living with it, I didn't think it was disposable, but I mean, expendable. And I mean, media at this point is useless. I probably will never buy another video game disc. I've given up on buying fucking Blu-ray discs. I mean, you people are nuts for doing that, but
yeah, no, get yourself a Hulu. Not a Hulu, a Vudu.
Yeah, Movies Anywhere, account. Man. Movies Anywhere ties them all together. These days, there's only a few dickhead studios. I realized the Bill and Ted Studio is one of those dickhead studios because I bought them on iTunes, which means I have to watch them on iTunes. But these days, if you have a modern Roku, you can even install fucking Apple TV to it and get to your content. So, I mean, I have access to, I'd say, upwards of 500 films anywhere I have an internet connection between my Plex setup that I built to burn all my Blu-rays and just digital titles, this, that, and the other things.
Back in my more unscrupulous days as a youngster, I would have... I still have them, I think. I just have to find them, or some of them may be home in Louisiana. I used to steal movies all the time. Pirate Bay, whatever torrent site you want to go to. There
listen to this motherfucker.
I had probably 6 to 7 terabytes of movies.
Hey, Nick, they're listening, man. They're listening.
Yeah, the FBI is in here.
They're listening.
But yeah, dude, that's like... But so that was my first cord cutting experience. Like that was my first... Because even my parents... Dude, like even my parents, they would be like, "Hey, can you get the new whatever movie?"
Yeah, there you go. Like, Papa came and you're gonna be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm in jail. You got $250,000 to bail me out?" You know those warnings they put? Guess what? They actually take them seriously,
dude. Actually, so what they do is when you do that, when you download, they have trackers. They have like basically pixel trackers or something like that they use. To be able to tell when you're downloading a movie illegally. And I didn't know that when I first started. So like I was doing it for people at work. Like people at work, they'd be like, "Can you get this? Can you get this? Can you get this?" I was like, "Yeah, whatever." I would burn the DVD at work and give it to them. And
which one were you on? Kazaa?
I was using Pirate Bay.
Pirate Bay? Yeah, I was Kazaa.
I used to use LimeWire and Kazaa, but like for movies later on in like my life, I used Pirate Bay.
In the like early 2000s when I was managing a GNC in college, I'd load up my laptop with bootleg jacked movies like from idiots recording it in the theater.
You get them anywhere that you could. And then eventually my workplace got a letter in the mail and it said...
Because they tracked your IP.
Yeah, they tracked the IP and they're like, we've identified this, and it was basically a cease and desist. It was a warning letter. So I was like, okay, I won't do it here anymore. And like they didn't give me any shit. They were like, hey, we got to shut down our movie operation. And I was like, okay, no problem. Hilarious. But then you also find again on the internet that there are IP address blockers. You just need when you're doing your downloads.
Need yourself a VPN.
And then that way, the IPs that are pinging you to see if you're stealing them are blocked, so you can't see. So they can't see it.
You fucking criminals! Everyone, even the interns in here, I know what he's up to.
Yeah. So I was an early adopter of the discless
Let's just say I think the intern only goes to Star Wars movies in theaters. I'll just leave it at that. All right, dude. So let's keep scooting along because I know that they're chomping at the bit for the Mando stuff, as am I. But we got one little low hanger left here, and it was a good one. I mean, we're not going to talk much about the game. We're getting the game. We want to play it. We're getting it on PS4 because of the PSVR, and it really doesn't matter. It's cross-play anyways. But on Monday, we got a rather excellent, just standalone CG short to set up this character of Varco Gray. Who is going to be an NPC on the Empire campaign. So this isn't someone you're going to be playing, but he is someone you will be interacting with. And what this hunted short does is just, it really kind of sets up the tone of the time period we're in. I mean, you see the Empire is just getting absolutely butt-fucked by a surprise New Republic attack. And the Empire, they're like, hey, fuck off. If anyone's not on the ship, peace. Varko, you can tell he loves his squad. He goes to try and save a squad mate. They get blasted anyways, but long story made short, they take off without him. And then a New Republic X-Wing hangs back and is kind of scanning the debris. And Varko's like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. And he turns his power back on. They have a great little dogfight. It looks like he's going to get blasted. And then he pulls just a bitchin' maneuver using some ocean water to do a little this and a little that. And then it ends. So just check it out. Nick and I were talking before we went live. This type of content is fantastic for a game like Squadrons. Just to set up the universe, get you engaged with the characters, and it's just it tells a quality, 6-minute long Star Wars tale.
Yeah. I think the important thing about this is that it is establishing to the people out there that this game does have story behind it. Because I think that most people are looking at this and they're like, it's a multiplayer only. Like all you're really going to have to play in this game is the multiplayer. There may be like a small campaign where you can play for like a couple hours and then that's it. But it's primarily a multiplayer title. But stuff like this really sells the story aspect of the game to you. It really makes it more important than what it seems on the surface level. And they did the same thing with the Knights of the Old Republic MMO, the Star Wars The Old Republic. And I was telling Matt,
those are the ones where you had, Malgus rolling out with fucking 1,000 Sith warriors, right? And you're just like, holy shit, I want to play this.
Yeah. So in my opinion, this is doing a fantastic job of, like you said, world building, but it also, particularly with this one, you see the humanity in the Empire, and that's something that you don't often see in the movies.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's where I was going to go next if you didn't. Nick, and I think the exchange that really sells who Varko is, and he really does love the Empire. He feels like he is doing the right thing. That's something a lot of times we forget. In war, the other side, they feel like they're fighting the good fight. It's just when we're third party looking from the outside in, we kind of make our judgments on who's good and who's bad. Clearly the Empire was a piece of shit. Yeah. We're dealing with some of that stuff right now in America, where you look at some people on whatever side of the political spectrum, you're like, what? How the fuck could you think, believe, or want that? But people do. For whatever reason, people do. I'm not going to go down that fucking road because it gets my blood boiling, but whatever. We're in fucking the bizarro states of America, and I don't think it's ever going to change. But back to this. As Nick said, Varko loves his Empire, and I think the exchange that really sells it, and I think convinced him to put up a good fight and try to live, is when that New Republic pilot cockily rolls up next to him and says, "War's over, imp."
Yeah.
Like, hey, motherfucker, what's your problem? Why we gotta keep doing this? And that's when he's like, you know what, fuck you. And he pulls that maneuver where he literally uses his exhaust to drown the X-Wing. It was beautiful. It was an awesome action moment. One of the cooler dogfights I've seen in Star Wars. And he's left for dead, but then, he hears a call over the radio and he's like, yo, war's not over for me, or something like that.
Yeah. It's that particular moment echoes real war really well, because that's what you're trained to do on one side or the other. You are trained to dehumanize your enemy. So this rebellion soldier, which we've always been shown that until Rogue One, that is, that the rebels are these peacekeeping, that they're these freedom fighters, but they have the same mentality as any warrior does. You dehumanize your enemy and you come up with name like imp. You're not a human being. You're not a person. You're an imp. And it was just what the U.S. Army did in World War II. They were the Japs, or they were the Krauts. You weren't fighting humans.
You have to dehumanize your opponent, because in the end, I've never had to do it. You're going over and shooting people, stabbing people, breaking their necks, especially in that war. You never knew how the fuck you had to take someone out.
Yeah. So I think that this trailer, even like you said, 7 minutes long, and it's well worth the watch, does so much to sell this realistic version of war, the humanity on both sides of the coin. And I really do hope that we get one from the New Republic side, because now we've got this awesome short for the Imperial side. Now we need one from the New Republic
I agree.
side.
I think they have to. You know, Star Wars is all about balance, right? Even though we're probably not going to be talking about the Force in this game, but there is, you would think that balance would play out. So it was good stuff. I mean, it was something like, okay, I want to see more of this. I like this story. I like the way the universe is kind of playing out right now. I mean, the galaxy. So let's go. It's coming up, right? Early October. Is it
early October?
October 4, yes. Maybe.
Let's see. You can pre-order Star Wars Squadrons here. Let's see. Let's see if they have pre-order now, and it tells you when it comes out. I think it's October mid, something like that. October 2nd.
There you go. It took 2 guys and 18 computers, but we got it done.
Yeah. October 2nd. So you're only 3 weeks out.
All right. Just before we get into Mando, Nick, a few announcements from the Peanut Gallery that listeners may be interested in. Our buddy Nico is saying that the Imperial Probe Droid Black Series is $15 at Target on clearance. So who knows if that's at every location, but keep a lookout. And our good friend Nico also got a cease and desist from Lucasfilm yesterday. So I'm guessing he was fucking trying to pirate something.
Oh, no. So, what was he? Yeah.
So watch out. I hope it's not for his little baby Yoda sack that he made. That was pretty neat. We've got a few features for that coming up. But all right, man, let's get into it. This is what we're here for. 45 minutes in. It's time. It's time to check out the Mandalorian Season 2 debut trailer. Yes, we got it. I told you it would be here before we talked again and met on this little shit show that we call the Star Wars Time Show. And it happened. So I'll give everyone a moment of silence to sit there and applaud for me. Go ahead. Thank you. All right. First and foremost, Nick, general thoughts on the trailer. It was fucking badass. Yes. If Lucasfilm knows how to do one thing, it's trailers. Okay?
Yeah.
They always show us a ton without showing us anything. The music beats are always perfect. The little teases of new characters are always intriguing. It was fantastic. I mean, anything from Ludwig's new score. I opened the show with the I love fucking Channing. Really, to what we got this, we got a nice little cheeky moment with the baby. We got one of the rumored actors confirmed. Yep. So it was pretty damn good. I mean, it's pretty damn good for a debut trailer, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed with it. It's 2 minutes long, so it wasn't it's not what I would consider a teaser trailer. It actually does give you like a bit of story context behind some things, and you get to see a lot of cool new locations or familiar locations for some of
right. And we'll kind of make our best guesses as what I'm going to do. First and foremost, you fuckers in Discord, anytime something like this comes out, this dumb piece of shit OCD loser with Star Wars stuff, I've got it covered. Just go look at YouTube, notify to our channel, or set up notification on our channel. You will get my hot take on the trailer and what I think is what. All right. Yes, I know it was Ilum, motherfuckers. All right. Anyway, so check out the trailer. Basically, Nick and I, we're going to do a live version of my trailer breakdown, but we're going to get the bonus edition of Nick's insights because I'm only one half of this shit. My brain vomits up what I think. You never know what Nick is going to puke out of his mouth. So we're just going to go through the 40 slides that I have posted on StarWarsTime.net. These are the same ones I used in my video breakdown. All right. So no more fucking around, you bozos. Hey, Ahsoka Tano joined the live stream.
Look at that.
Hey, Ahsoka, I really don't think that's you, but we'll talk about it. She's referring to the lead image we have here if you're on the live stream of Sasha Banks.
Yes.
All right, Nick, so I'm going to open up the first still. I don't know if you're following along at home with me, buddy, but we can see a shot of a clearly damaged Razor Crest.
Yep. Smoke
flying over a poopy-looking planet or moon, headed towards a more Earth-like looking moon.
Yes.
Here is my. I'll speculate at least on why the Razor Crest is fucked up. I believe this is a continuation of some of the action beats we get later in the trailer, where it looks like Mando gets himself into a dogfight with 2 New Republic X-Wing fighters.
Yeah, it definitely could. I mean,
look, the back is fucking wide open. The sides all beat up. He's got blaster bolt or scoring marks on both engines on the top of the Razor Crest. So I'm thinking this is him after he successfully takes out those two New Republic bozos, and he's trying to go somewhere where he can get his ship fixed up.
Yeah, get some repairs done, and I feel like we may see that a little bit later in the trailer as well.
All right, so planets here, Nick. Tones is thinking Yavin could be this opening shot. I
mean, Yavin does have a very lush green, Earth-like composition to it, so it's not a bad guess here. My only issue with that is if this is, like you're speculating, a place for him to go to, to seek repairs and stuff, it doesn't seem like Yavin would be good, because that is literally like Yavin is going to be a New Republic stronghold.
Right.
Like,
I agree. If anything, I agree maybe on the repair stuff, but if we think about the history of Yavin Temple, the Masasi temples, all that shit, it's got some ties to Jedi type of stuff. Yeah, maybe that's why they're going there. Maybe that's where he was headed when he gets blasted, and he's just still going there, and he's going to have to fix it. I don't know. Other people in the stream here are thinking that might be the frozen planet. I do not, because I think the frozen planet has a very distinct look.
Yeah, I think it's my guess here, and bear with me until we get a little bit further down, is that I think that this could potentially be Takodana, because Takodana.
I wasn't even thinking that. That's a good one.
Yeah, like it's a pirate stronghold, and we know it's been like that for years, for 1,000 years, because of Maz Kanata's castle and everything else that is present on that planet. And then once we get a little bit further into the trailer, we can see like, hey, this place looks like it could be Takodana, where he's in the fighting ring. You can see flags all around the ring, and that's very similar to Maz's castle. See? Some unsavory characters in there, like we saw when we, saw Maz's castle in TFA. So I'm going to throw Takodana out there as a potential. I like that.
I think for just to move on to the next one, I'm liking Yavin for just the nostalgia roots, the Jedi-like type of ties. It would technically make sense for a stop on their journey to find the space wizards. I also do think Nick has some great points on Takodana as well. So I think we'll leave that one as is, but it was a nice opening, nice and slow, kind of eerie. So good guesses there, Nick. So then we move into just the trailer opens up and we get this speech the armorer gave him at the end of season 1, essentially setting up his mission that we're watching play out in this trailer, which is 100% to find the child's stuff, the other wizards out there, be it other Yoda creatures, other what do they call them? Sorcerers, other evil sorcerers and shit. Yeah,
sorcerers.
And we see Mando and the child. Obviously, they're homeboys now. They roll everywhere together, and they're rolling up to some sort of city, like a bazaar in a city, right? I mean, because if we go to the next shot, which I believe is a continuation, it's dark. There's graffiti everywhere. It kind of reminds me. What was the fucking planet they were just on in the Clone Wars season 7 with the two sisters and Ahsoka?
They were on Coruscant in the underground. It was where
they were being held captive by the Pikes.
Oh Jesus!
Like the city scene looks kind of like this is where I'm going for. I just forget the fucking planet.
Yeah.
But anyways, they're clearly. I think the gist, at least in the early episodes, will be they're going out and following leads that Mando or Din has probably gotten, and they're going to these ports, these towns, these cities, investigating the clues they may have received in their other missions. Any deeper insights on this one, Nick? Where he could be? What do you think they're up to?
Not too much here. This planet could also lead into what we see later with the fighting ring and everything like that. So I want to throw that
there's
out there
a little. There's not as many big buildings as we saw in Solo, but you could say there's a little Corellia feel here. At least the streets we saw young Han on.
Yeah, because we know that the Corellia has basically their own slum section,
right?
So that's a pretty decent call out there. But yeah, nothing that I would say is like a clear home run for this particular planet.
Right. Next, we get a nice landscape shot. We get to see that bantha we were talking about last week with the Tusken. If we're going on if it's still a fact that Tuskens don't leave Tatooine. This is Tatooine, right?
Yes, this is Tatooine.
Definitely reminds me of the same location where he would roll over and hang out with his buddy Kuil, too. I don't know if they're just reusing like environment shots they got in season 1. But that craggy look definitely has hints of whatever. We never really figured out what planet Kuil was on, right? It definitely wasn't Tatooine.
Yeah,
it wasn't Navarro.
I don't think we ever got like I'll look to see because
he goes there twice. I mean, he goes there first to get the child, and then he returns
out of the way planet called Arvala 7. There
you go.
So that's
But so like you said, I believe you told me last week, and anyone listening, if you're in the live stream, you want to fact check us, that'd be great. But supposedly, Tusken Raiders do not leave the planet of Tatooine, so we're just going to say
not found anywhere outside.
He's returning to Tatooine at some point, which I believe is further validated in another scene coming up. All right, so the shot here of the Razor Crest descending upon a snowy planet. I believe this planet is 100% Ilum. Yep. Ilum has been canonized many times over in Star Wars lore. Most recently with Star Wars Resistance and The Force Awakens. We learned in Resistance that the First Order essentially turned Ilum into Starkiller Base.
Into Starkiller Base, because it was a Kyber crystal. That was where a large section of Kyber crystals were
right, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, Ilum to me was at least first explored, I believe, in Gennedy's Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah,
it was further explored in George's and Dave's Clone Wars, and that, as Nick said, I mean, I believe there's an actual series of episodes that follow Padawans going there to form their lightsabers. So
yeah,
I think Ilum being featured in this season 100% makes sense. Due to its obviously its ties to the Force with all of its Kyber resources, its ties to the Jedi culture in the past. I mean, it was almost like a pilgrimage planet where a Padawan would have to go to find their crystal, right?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I will throw out. I'm just going to say this because I think it would be a cool little storyline to have in there. But I'll throw out Hoth as a possibility.
Just as Klondike said in the live stream.
0.5%, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
I think it would be cool if he is basically retracing the steps of the most famous Jedi of his time.
So that would also back up the Yavin claims for the first planet then.
Exactly. So we see him on Tatooine. If that planet in the beginning is Yavin, Yavin is checked off. 2 places that Luke had been to.
I like it.
He's going to Hoth because he knows that Luke was on Hoth during, the beginning of ESB. And then that could lead directly to him going to Dagobah, which is where you could find proof of another creature like this that existed. Like you see Yoda's little hovel. If there's any sort of artifacts like that can be found. And then he's kind of like searching for Luke Skywalker by going to all of the famous original trilogy
I like
locations.
This, Nick, and let's kind of riff on it a bit more. I mean, think about it. At this point in time in the galaxy, the legend of Luke Skywalker is strong. I mean, it was strong after he blew up the fucking Death Star. They didn't quite, know his name, but I mean that pilot, and then Luke Skywalker, and he became such a legend that Vader found out about him. He wanted to find this Luke Skywalker, and then he realizes, that's my fucking son. He's a pussy. I got to find out why he's a pussy, and that's where we're at now in the most recent Vader comic run. But I mean, if you're Din Djarin and you've just been tasked with finding a race of sorcerers that you really know nothing about outside of Mandalorian legend, has songs about the great Mandalorian wars between sorcerers and Mandalorian warriors, and I'm sure he knows about Tar Vizsla and all that shit. One would think if he's going around looking for these sorcerers someone would probably utter the name or at least the legends or the tales of one Luke Skywalker to him.
Exactly. And I mean, a lot of people out there could tell him like, oh yeah, Skywalker, they're from Tatooine, you know, they were junk traders, or they were slaves at one point and then they were freed. So if he's following this trail, if he's following this path, then you could logically end up on Hoth and something else, just kind of following that down the line. So I think that's a possibility. I think Ilum is probably the correct choice because of all of the things that you mentioned, though. The strong tie to the Force.
I mean, it makes the most sense. I'm getting a spoilers, bro, in the live stream. I'm not sure what that's all about. I mean, I don't think it's spoilers. We are speculating. I mean, I guess I'll take that as a sign of respect that you think our speculation is that strong and correct. But yeah, if this type of stuff makes you feel itchy, you may want to tune out. But we know shit. We watched the trailer, and I am tapping into my Force powers to speculate on what the fuck might be going on. So, I mean, the big snow planets in Star Wars, Ilum, Hoth. I think Nick's idea would be interesting, and like I said, I think it could be supported in the universe. I mean, it's not like the legend of Luke Skywalker has just gone mute at this point in time. I mean, he may be out searching all these Sith bunkers and shit like that and hanging out. But I would still think people would be like, hey, you remember that guy that blew up one Death Star? And he essentially killed the Emperor and Darth Vader too. Yeah, I think people would remember him. So, all right, it was just a joke. I didn't understand it. Sorry, Rose. That one went over my head. All right. Next up, Joe, I'll try to answer your question. What is that behind them when he's walking in the snow in that other snow scene? I don't know. I guess we'll get there. But here we go.
I think it's he might be talking about the crash. It looks like some sort of...
It's the Razor Crest. I know it is. But here we go. We got the band. This is our first pure shot of the child. I'm just going to start calling him Bob at this point. Bob. So there's Bob. He's looking good. Looks like he aged a little bit, right? I mean, he looks a little wiser in the face.
Yeah, he's got some hair on his ears now.
I love this little fucker. I can't wait for my life size. And now, maybe this is the one that Joe's talking about in the live stream, but that is the Razor Crest behind them. You can see that.
You just never see it like where you could see like the colors.
It does have yellow markings. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this is it, and I do think they've landed. This could be the follow-up after their battle with the X-Wings. Who knows? They've landed, and clearly it's almost like the child knows where to go. Because if we flip back to the first scene, the child's the one kind of leading, right? Yeah. And then Mando comes and kneels behind them like, you smell something, buddy? It's one of those things like, we on the right trail, buddy? Like that. So it's almost like the child has become his bloodhound.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm 100% agreement there.
Yeah. Okay. This next one here, and I think True Perry is right, and I hate myself for not bringing it up, but Nick, do you think this is Mon Cala?
I mean, we're seeing lots of
Quarrens at least, right?
So obviously, if we see Quarrens in the foreground, we see some Mon Cala in the background a little bit. So if you look behind Quarren on the left-hand side of the picture, you'll see like a more red-tinged Mon Cala. And yeah, I mean, it does kind of look like we're on this home planet, especially with these two species dominating the frame here.
We've never really been to a watery planet outside of Camino, and that was just flyover shots.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Clone Wars.
But based on this trailer, we're going to be seeing something I believe is unique to Star Wars, and that's they're going to be on a fucking boat.
Yeah, like a real ass boat.
A real ass boat. I mean, we could say resistance, sort of, but it wasn't. It was just a sunken space station.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. But before we get there, obviously the biggest, I think, shock or reveal of the trailer is this right here. And we got our first look at, obviously, Sasha Banks is in it. This is a rumor I feel like we talked about months ago. And it paid off. I mean, this would have been an MSW. I mean, the guy may be a little creepy, but he did have legit sources. This isn't the best picture of Sasha and her character, so I'm just going to go ahead and click through the screens. But she curiously pops up as the armorer is talking about the sorcerers and the space wizards and all that fun stuff. Could be complete fucking, smokescreen shit.
Yeah.
But we get another shot. There's a clear shot of her. So, Nick.
Yes.
Let's clear the obvious out of the way. This is not Ahsoka Tano, everyone. Please stop that. I've seen it here. I've seen it on our Discord, and I've seen it all over the place on Reddit and YouTube.
It's not Ahsoka.
This is not Ahsoka Tano, okay?
It would be very clear that it would be Ahsoka because her face would be orange.
Yeah, it's like
Ahsoka Tano is.
I sometimes
you would see her white tattoos.
It's like people. I know Disney may do some shady casting here and here, but they're not just going to fundamentally change an alien character and make her a normal human.
I mean, Filoni would never allow that to happen.
No.
Like, if you think that Dave Filoni would let them just say like, oh, well, it's hard to paint somebody's face, so we're just going to make her a woman.
So here's the deal. I mean, at this point, there are one of two possibilities with this character. Mm-hmm. And the one we first speculated with, Nick, way back when we found out the rumor, was, could she be playing a Sabine Wren? Yeah. I think that you can still leave that on the table, right?
It's very much still a possibility.
Right. So Sabine is one of them. The reason why I don't think it's Sabine is because Sabine she's an Asian character.
Yeah.
And Disney, with what they try to do and really the ass kicking they're taking with Mulan, you would think they'd know by now if they're going to portray an animated Asian character in live action, they would go with an Asian actress.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think here the only thing that stirs me away from Sabine is just her dress. She never. And again, the only time we've ever seen her is Rebels, but she never seemed like the one to be a shadowy cowl.
No, she always, because I mean, I almost feel like we need to just pull up the epilogue of Rebels right now, because that is the oldest version of Sabine we got. That's when Ahsoka comes to collect her, probably to go look for Ezra. And I still believe, she might not be whipping her helmet, but I still believe she has Mandalorian garb on, light armor on the top at least. Yes, we're not stupid. Yeah, of course, she doesn't always have to be in her armor. But as Nick said, this just seems overly secretive and mysterious for a character that is not really being hunted or sought out by anybody.
Yeah, Sabine's not. She doesn't need to stay in the shadows. She is a Mandalorian, and she could easily pass as a bounty hunter or anything else. So the other potential, and I kind of brought this up, is that this, as the voiceover may suggest, that this is some sort of Jedi character. And the first thing that I really threw out to Matt was like, well, at this point in her life, Ahsoka could very easily have a trainee.
Or like I think someone brought it up either in Discord or in here, like an acolyte, just a follower. Someone that's like, all right. I mean, because you would imagine Ahsoka isn't gung-ho like, Jedi. I mean, she's probably training them in the ways of the Force, the way she deals with it. So she may not just be a standard Padawan. She could just be an acolyte, a follower, a disciple almost.
Yeah, something like, I feel like every Force user, whether it be Jedi, Sith, or neutral, does have the pull at some point to try to pass their gifts on, or like to teach somebody else who is of the same ilk as them the ways to use this power that they have. So she could very easily be a some sort of trainee of Ahsoka. Right. But also, here's another possibility.
Oh, look at this guy. He's got more.
There's still a dark side in Star Wars. Is it
Barriss Offee? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think, even with Barriss, her face would have to be green. But I think it could be a dark side acolyte in some way, because we know, because how the fuck does Mando know the difference between one and another?
Are you going she's with Gideon?
Yes.
All right. Okay, I got you now, buddy. I like it.
So, how is Mando supposed to tell one space wizard from another, one sorcerer from another? They can use the Force, and that's all that he knows. He's like, okay, well, perfect. You are exactly what I'm looking for. It's my charge to give this child on to somebody like them. he gives it to her. She brings it to Gideon.
Well, and we know for a fact, I mean, this is legit because Giancarlo spilled the beans. I guess he's allowed to, but I mean, he said in an interview that his character, Moff Gideon, and the child will be together this season, one-on-one.
Yeah. So,
Nick, I think you need to start doing the fucking breakdown videos because my brain didn't even go there. And I do think it's a good lead. The Peanut Gallery, they're stuck on the Sabine stuff. And that's fine. If she is Sabine, great. I would love it. That's who Nick and I kind of pegged Sasha as playing when we heard the rumor. I do think it would work, but I also think the way Disney operates, I don't know. I mean, why not get an actual Asian actress just to avoid
and again I
the
think
white
that
noise
in that circumstance too, like with Filoni essentially being the creator of both Ahsoka and Sabine, I don't think he would allow any fuckery with them. Like he just wouldn't let it happen. He would put the squash on that pretty quickly and make sure that the character was represented properly. But I will say, I mean, just look at it. I mean, like you're talking, this is a black cowl. This is a black robe. Typically Jedi did not wear black robes. They wore, brownish, light gray, something like that. Like she does not necessarily look, I mean, we've only seen her for 3 seconds, but she has a dark side feel to her.
Yeah.
And
a mysterious feel. I mean, I know we're trust me, we're not moronic. Yes, she could have her Mando garb under there if we want to just go with this as Sabine. I don't know, man. I'm liking what Nick's saying after I heard it.
Because I just don't think that you can completely write off dark side Force users at this point. Yes, the Emperor is dead, and yes,
but
Darth
he's not,
Vader
dude. He's the Sith Eternal.
He's not dead. He is passed on to a different body. But
he's a fucking zombie, an exegol getting played with these weirdos.
Yeah, he's getting ready. But
either way, I mean, this was clearly the big moment of this trailer one. I mean, those of you that think you're going to get a look at an Ahsoka if she's in it, a Rex if he's in it, a Boba if he's in it, you're not. They're not going to tip that hand in the fucking trailers, okay?
Especially the first trailer.
No fucking way. Like, I was surprised we got this. I'm not kidding you. Like, this to me, I think was an intentional nugget to get the conversation. Like, okay, all right, it isn't just Din and the child. It is like Favreau's saying. There are some other characters here, but who knows? So we got 3 avenues for this character. Sabine, that I think that's the fan favorite choice. A light side or a gray type of Jedi follower of Ahsoka, or an acolyte of Gideon. I think that's what we'll leave this one on. Good stuff there, young Nick. I like that. It's like, I don't know if the scenes matched up, but it's the way they cut the trailer. It's almost like the child could sense that there was another Force user around.
Yep.
So like I said, I believe this is a first for Star Wars. I've been trying to go back and peel through my Rolodex. I don't think we've ever had a barge on a large body of water that our hero characters use to get around. So
no,
like what's the deal here, Nick?
There was like a skimmer, like the skimmer.
Yeah, I mean, Ray right there.
Ray, Tross, but that was about it.
But where the fuck are they going that you can only get there by sea? Like, what are we talking about? This is Star Wars. I mean, they don't have warp tech. They don't have transporters like Star Trek, but I mean, they have hyperdrives. They have starships, little ships. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It has to be, in my opinion, it's got to be an underwater location. And I'll throw out another planet. We said Mon Cala. We already know about Camino. It's clearly this isn't Camino, in my opinion. Mon Cala, high possibility because of the Quarren and the Mon Calamari that we saw. Manan is another potential here. Manan is the water planet from KOTOR. And we know that we were on Manan for KOTOR because Darth Revan and Malak had been there, and it was the location of one of the star maps. I mean, again, completely irrelevant to the story that's being told in Mando, but another possibility for a planet that we could see in the show.
What if it's a lake on Naboo and they're to go see Jar Jar Binks and Boss Nass?
They could be going right down to the
Gungan society. Baby?
Don't throw it out.
I guess this just kind of came to mind here. If this is a Mon Cala, their cities are underwater, right?
Yeah.
Are they going out to sea to go underwater to look for something?
Potentially.
Because I can't think of any other reason. Why do you need a fucking boat in Star Wars unless you need to go to the middle of the sea and drop down? Another
tie to Luke Skywalker, you could say that they're looking for, I'm sure that Admiral Akbar is still a part of the New Republic society and stuff like that. But potentially, like Akbar lives on Mon Cala. He's from Mon Cala. Maybe they're searching out information about. Can you tell me about Luke Skywalker? Can you tell me where I could potentially find this person? But yeah, other than that, like, why the fuck would they be on Mon Cala? I have no idea.
It's just, really, the whole boat thing, it's just like, this is odd. Like, anywhere you could want to get in Star Wars, just jump in your fucking ship and land there, right? I mean, that's how we've done it in the past. So maybe they are going out deep sea and they need to go under, but I would still think, hey, just hover the fucking ship and drop down. But hey,
yeah,
it's cool. It's something different, right? I mean, I'm guessing this might be a Filoni Favreau concoction. It's just something unique for Star Wars, so I like it.
Yeah.
Up next, it's just a shot of them on the boat. Looks like it's just them and some Quarrens, so it probably is Mon Cala, or at least an extension of that scene we talked about earlier where he was at that harbor type of port town.
Yes.
There's our buddy again. He looks like such a pimp in his carrier now.
I know,
and
right?
They painted red lines on it, right? Because this is a new one, because the old one got smashed when he gave the baby up. Yeah, looking good, buddy. All right, so here we go. This is the kind of what I talked about earlier when we see the Razor Crest and it looks beat to shit. And I'm guessing it's a result of whatever this encounter is about. So, he's flying. It almost looks like he's getting escorted by 2 New Republic X-Wings.
Yes.
But then we see, one rolls up next to him and spreads those S-foils. And that's typically, like an animal that Jurassic Park dinosaur that kills, what's his name? Nestor, the fat guy with glasses.
Kills.
It's once they spray up those neck shit or whatever and go, oh, like that, or like a turkey, you're fucked, right? I mean, this is an aggressive posture this X-Wing is giving Mando.
Yeah, and you can see at this point too, his ship is still well intact.
Right. So I mean, something happens. The other thing I want to note here, and I'm just going with it, that looks like fucking R2-D2. All right.
It does. I know that there are other astromech R2.
It's probably one with dark green paint, but the lighting and everything, that's fucking R2 hanging with a with a New Republic pilot. That's fucking Luke himself. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's Luke right there. He found him. How
funny would it be, like, obviously you don't see this guy, but they're like, he's like, all right, this Red 5, I got to take off, and he just peels away, and they'll be like, oh man, that's Filoni again doing it to us, but. Clearly New Republic, they're no fans of Mando either. This could be them following up on his stunt from season 1 where he essentially raided one of their prison ships and broke people out, but also locked people up for him. But they're going to have a dogfight. Now I'm guessing this is why his ship it looks basically blown up.
Yeah, I think that they're going to put a good beating on Mando on the way down or wherever he's going. So that was a good shot there. There's also a really good shot of the Razor Crest for those of you who haven't seen good shots, like Matt was mentioning for the previous snow shot. You can see the yellow markings on it from this particular.
And then,
shot. like
we said earlier with the bantha, I mean, here's one of our buddy zooming away on a speeder. So, knowing what we know, they're probably making a return to Tatooine. Right here, his 2 best friends, the expressions on their face lead me to believe that the Mando has landed at Navarro, probably looking for some help, information. I don't think this is just hey, everybody, how you doing? Good to see you again. All right, now we got to keep moving.
Yeah. So
I do, at this point, Nick, I am going to say it is quite odd that Cara Dune did not get a costume change, especially because Greef's is such a drastic
It's
change.
It's a huge change, man. Like, he used to basically just whip this leather jacket, and then some pretty neutral stuff.
Yeah, like earth tone, yellow shirt and shit.
And I think that's because of what Carl said in the interview, where they were like, they didn't even have a costume for him because they were like, whatever, dude, you're going to be here for 2 episodes and then you're out. So they're like, you know, we don't have to get crazy with you. You're not even going to see your face because we're going to cover it. And then he fucking forced himself into the show, and they're like, all right, you get a proper Star Wars costume now.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I guess she that's her armor per se, and you know, it's not like Din changed his. Hopefully they're changing their undergarments, or things are going to get a little stinky on the Razor Crest. The other thing, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the character of Cara Dune, because of her real life counterpart seems to be going nutty on social media.
I think I recently started following her, but
I mentioned it last week. She had like a big COVID blast a week or two ago. And this week, and again, this is alleged stuff. I saw it on Star Wars Twitter, but apparently she's actively going around and blocking like LGBTQ Star Wars fans. So,
I mean, if that's the case, then I mean,
the COVID stuff was enough. Like, you could tell from the COVID, like, she's a moron. She might be like a Fox Newser type.
Yeah, I mean, also keep in mind that like her profession for a very long time was to be punched in the head for a living.
And that's what our buddy Bossajan said last week. I didn't catch it in the chat till the end. He's like, well, she has been knocked out a few times. So
yeah, I mean, like if look, she is a you know, plays the role of Cara Dune very well and everything like that, but she was punched in the head for a living, and one of her last fights, she got the shit beat out of her.
It's a shame sometimes, because you know we like characters that sometimes shitty people play, but because the people are shitty, sometimes the characters get whacked out. So
it's just like you then have to decide, like, I think a majority of people have decided this with Michael Jackson. Like, can you separate the artist from who they were as a person, like their work from their real life?
Yeah, he's still like someone that like I would take a COVID over a child raper any day. But I know there's still a ton of Jackson fans out there, and it's not
Michael
like
Jackson.
I don't change his music if it comes on the air. But I mean, that guy is a creep.
Oh yeah, and people can, like, in that instance, in a lot of instances, people are willingly able to separate Michael Jackson as the pedophile from Michael Jackson as the pop star, and they just let those two things live separately in their mind. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think to a certain degree, you should try to do that. You know, like, you know, if there's something that you enjoy and you want to continue to enjoy Michael Jackson's music, by all means, go for it. Like, you don't have to delete all of his songs because of it, but you also have to acknowledge that the other side of him exists. So yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see what happens to her. If maybe Disney PR will be like, hey, let's, you are allowed to have your own opinions as a human being, and by no means are we going to tell you to do otherwise, but let's keep it off of the social medias a little bit, you know, just, tone it down there, ma'am. But yeah, it will be interesting to see her character arc coming up. I don't think there's a death in store for her anytime soon, or she may have been a little bit more salty on Instagram.
Are you seeing this? I just queued this up, Nick, because we saw it in the chat here, but apparently there's news today that Pedro is being a baby about wearing the helmet.
I did not see that.
Let me link this to you real quick. I got it pulled up on the live stream, so we're just going to jump into this live and cover it quick before we get back to our breakdown. But this is coming from YouTuber Grace Randolph, who I think is full of shit a lot of times.
Oh yeah, Grace. No, yeah, I saw something about Grace Randolph.
She's typically full of shit, right?
And immediately when I saw it, I was like, yeah, this isn't real. All right, like she's a bullshit.
That
artist,
makes sense, because I mean, as much as we make fun of Star Wars Leaks Reddit, they don't put like the complete bullshit, like Doomcock for the most part and whatnot. But the nonsense going around here is that Pedro doesn't like wearing the helmet.
Yeah, the only actual news outlet that I see this on is Cosmic Book News, and we remember Cosmic Book News last time they came up. It was complete and utter bullshittery. So anything that comes out of them or Grace Randolph, I won't believe.
Yeah, so I mean, Nico, thanks for the tip. It was something to bring up, but I didn't see this on leaks earlier today, which means it's probably horseshit, clickbait, nonsense.
And also, just for most of you people to remember, he's not in that suit 90% of the time.
Well, yeah, well, this season they're like, oh, I'm in a lot more now. It's like, all right, who cares? Just shut the fuck up and enjoy what you got, you motherfucker. Like, if this stuff's real, it's like, you wonder why some people can't take Hollywood types. It's like, give me a fucking break.
It's like, yeah, you're making millions of dollars doing this, and if this is real, and he's like, I don't want to wear the helmet.
This is bullshit.
No, that's not real.
We're gonna put the Star Wars Time Show stamp of poo on this one.
Yeah, we need.
And this is a Cosmic Book News story. I got duped.
Yeah,
not blaming you, Nico. It's not your problem either. It's these fuckers that get out there and try to just sow more discord into the Star Wars universe. It's no different than what happens in our real life in America. These days, all we want to do is shit on stuff and put out poop so people click on it. Then you got people like Nick and I who don't really partake in that, and we actually give you good takes, and we actually paid off on the trailer dropping before our next show, and no one will ever fucking hear about it. Because we're not here, throwing fucking shit at the wall nonstop. All right, so back to the breakdown here.
Imperial
and guess
ties.
What? If Pedro is a douche, we'll never know. It doesn't matter. I mean, they'll just replace the actor. He'll be someone else will be behind the fucking helmet, and they'll make the voice sound as close as possible.
Yeah.
The trailer really kind of gets into the montage bit. We typically get these in trailers where you get some longer scenes and then it's just bang, 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 bang. So here we get to see hints of the Remnant firing up. I mean, it kind of looks like they're still on Navarro. We got these new ties that we saw Gideon flying last season. And then we get the inside of a base or a ship, Nick. So based on the next scenes where we see these speeder bikes just spilling out of something and jumping down into a ravine, I'm guessing these fuckers either have a full-on base somewhere, or this is the new big vehicle that Gideon talks about that is under his possession, and they're literally hovering over this location and like hot plopping out their scout troopers to go chase something down.
It could be like I can't remember what the name of it was from the Avengers, but that big ass flying base. But like that, it was essentially a flying city that SHIELD had, and we saw it in Captain America Winter Soldier. I do think that, I mean, I don't know, based off the topography and how it's built, like it kind of does look like a stationary base, but like if it's a vehicle that big as Giancarlo described, then like it could very well be a mobile city unit similar to the Colossus, it could be like a Colossus style.
Yeah, that or even like where are they? The helicarriers from Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going for. The helicarriers, whatever they're fucking called.
I mean, it's like, and we also had Esposito tease that I'm driving a much larger vehicle now, so I like that. I mean, like I said, it's either a cliffside base or a low-flying, hovering fortress.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they're still on Navarro too, because in the next shot where you see the scout troopers descending on their speeders, you can still see that river of lava. That's at the very bottom of the shot. That's essentially what Mando and the crew were going down at the end of Episode 8 when IG-80 or IG-11 went nuclear at the end. So this could still be on Navarro. So it seems like that planet is still a point of
big time
contested.
At least for the Remnant. And we got someone new in the chat here. Star Wars Daily News does not like our thoughts on the Razor Crest being featured behind Mando and the child on the snow planet. It is the Razor Crest. Take it to the bank. You heard it here first. I guess we'll find out starting October 30th. But I'm sticking to my guns.
The markings are very similar.
Right.
I mean,
and they're very adamant that I am wrong, and that's great. I love passionate Star Wars fans, but that's the Razor Crest. Okay, so again, continuing in all the action shots, we see Mando being trapped underwater. This is probably on that barge, so someone's probably trying to foil their plans.
Yes.
We see him activate the jetpack. So yes, he's not wearing it at all times, but he's definitely going to be using it. And this scene with the jetpack, Nick, I believe ties into these scout bikes or the speeder bikes dumping out. Yeah. And
very similar terrain.
Everything looks like Navarro.
Yep.
From these remnant action scenes.
Yeah.
And then we get back to a shot of the planet from the beginning of the trailer when it's just him and the child kind of walking in, checking things out. Still not quite sure what this could be. You can see more of the graffiti. It looks like Mando is fucking with the locals like he does.
I can't wait to see the scene that leads up to this, because for him to string up somebody upside down on a light pole, there had to be some sort of scuffle that entailed.
Oh yeah. I mean, he fucked up somebody's day here. So
yeah.
And then here we go. So this is back to this icy planet, and this which just further reinforces my call that this is Ilum. Yes. They're going into some sort of cave on Ilum, and the caves of Ilum are where all the Force users would go to look for their kyber crystals. Yeah. Another shot of that in there. But the whole Hoth thing, it's viable. It's viable.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Like I said, I'll put like a 0.5% chance on that with 99.5 on Ilum. But I mean, if this is another planet, like you called out in the beginning, with like the baby kind of leading the way, like he would feel that pull from these kyber crystals, that Force juice is kind of leading him.
You would think so on a planet like Ilum, especially, or like a Dagobah, any of these planets that had pockets of the Force, both light and dark. Octo, same thing. All right, here we go. So we get to this Gamorrean fight club, and this is where Nick was kind of thrown out there. Hey, maybe this is on Takodana. You got all these faction flags are up for some reason. He's clearly going here to meet this Cyclops character that we actually get for some dialogue from. Nick, were you able to put a name to the voice on this guy in terms of an actor?
No, I was going to ask you to.
It sounds so damn familiar, but I can't nail it. Like, I don't think it sounds like Michael Biehn. That was one of the rumored characters.
Yeah, I'd have to listen to it again a few more times, but the three that I watched, I really couldn't nail down somebody off of it.
But it's like either Mando through his shady contacts ends up here, or through whatever mission they were on, they learned something. They're kind of half-assed talking about the child and their mission and who they're looking for, and it seems at one point, once he gets him to admit that the child never leaves his side, then we get these thugs show up with their blasters, right?
Yeah. They have him cornered now, or so they think they have him cornered.
And then this is where we get the cheeky moment of the trailer. It was great.
I love this moment.
I don't know if this is Favreau or Filoni wrote this one, and I fucked up the stills apparently. But he essentially, once he's cornered by all these henchmen, he shows us the whistling birds. And as soon as those come out and their tips light up blue, the child is like, oh fuck, hits his button. His little crib shuts, and then the screen goes dark, and you hear the and then we come back to the Mando having basically murdered everybody, and the last kill being a knife throw into some dude's heart. He's kind of a Zabrak-y looking gentleman.
Yes,
not full on head horns. Looks a little different. But then
he's like a Zabrak something hybrid.
There you go,
like a little cross,
and then it ends with the money shot and the motto, "This is the way." So
yeah. I mean, overall, dude, for a first trailer for this show, we're a month and a half out from release. They gave us a lot of good information for us to do what we've done for about an hour here, speculate. And I think that this is cutting up to be a fantastic season. Like, just so many new places, so many new players. and then so much possibility for where this story could potentially go based off of just a very simple directive from the armorer. Get this baby back to his kind. So I was very impressed with the trailer.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm looking up images of the Razor Crest.
Are you trying to prove yourself?
I know I'm right. I know I'm right. I'm not like sitting here like I'm right, everybody's wrong. I just, when I get a strong pushback, I'm going to defend my opinions. So.
There are very distinctive markings. If you look between image number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, which is the image that we're talking about, and then you look at the image of the Razor Crest flying in the air next to the 2 X-wings, that's 3 rows down.
Those are definitely its guns.
The guns are almost
it's a crash landing. That's why it's so low to the ground. I mean, he doesn't have his landing gear out.
Yeah, exactly. So he's come to a crash. The markings are the markings are actually the markings are dead on.
I'm looking at the Lego Razor Crest and it's right there. But anyways, I guess we'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah,
hey,
the markings right behind the gun are literally dead on between the two shots.
We're all here to speculate and have fun.
But who knows? Who knows? I mean, it could be something else. But it does look a lot like the Razor Crest from the markings on the guns.
That is my guess.
So what was your favorite moment in the trailer? What would you say is your favorite moment?
All right, what gave me the chills? Yeah, tones. It's crash landing. Like I'm guessing they're coming in, and when we've seen ships crash before, crash skids up to a stop. So its nose is down in the ground low. It is not propped up on its landing gear. And guess what? If I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. I'm not like these other fucking assholes that'll sit there and be like, well, they actually had to film an extra scene in between the trailer release and the episode, and they replaced it. I'll tell you, I'm a fucking idiot, right?
Yeah.
But I think the evidence points to that is the crest crash landed on Ilum.
Yes.
Honestly, dude, what really kind of got me emotionally involved is Ludwig's chant to open it. Like that fucking like that is like, all right, Mandalorian is back, because the chant happens as the title card flashes. And it's like, I'm like, oh yes. Because I've said it before. I mean, music and Star Wars, they go hand in hand. The music can enhance the Star Wars. Yeah. If not make the Star Wars better than it truly is on paper. So that got me into it, and I really think the slapstick moment, the funny moment with the callback to the whistling birds and the fucking baby, it just shows you their relationship and their bond and the way they kind of work together. It's not like he had to say, "Hey baby, I'm about to fucking kill everybody, get ready." The child he's been around this guy, he knows what's up.
Yeah, the baby knows what's coming.
How about you? I mean, what stood out?
For me, the first moment was definitely the baby with the whistling birds. Like the first time I watched it, it pulled out the chuckle, and I was like, this is, like you said, the relationship is proven to have built over time. Right. But then really, the Sasha Banks reveal for me got the juices flowing. Yeah, like all of those, like, who is she? Who could, like, what is this going to lead to? And everything like that. So like that moment, everything else was gravy. And I really loved everything that we saw. But that Sasha Banks moment, that little bit of time and like the chosen garb that she's in is what really got me flowing. Yeah,
like, these people are smart. I mean, they pick the scenes to show us. They time it up to the narration there. I mean, it could all be a smokescreen with this character, but like Nick said, I mean, one of the reasons Star Wars Time Show exists is so we can sit here, sweat most of the time, and speculate on this fake ass sci-fi shit, right? Yeah. Like that's the fun stuff. Who wants to think about real life in 2020? Not me. So now we're actually getting legit material for The Mandalorian. One of the greatest Star Wars properties since the original trilogy. It feels good to be talking about this stuff again, wondering, making those guesses. I'm going to fall on the sword for that's the Razor Crest, just because it seems to be in the fandom a point of contention with the trailer. I can't wait to see who Sasha ends up as. I think the Sabine's a good guess. I think your stuff was out of the box, but sometimes the obvious is not going to be the case. Almost all the times, the obvious is not the case.
Yeah. But
I guess one other moment, Nick, and this is just my OT nostalgia, seeing the T-65s roll up and kind of spread the wings. It almost reminded me of being on a highway, and people roll up and they're like, "Oh, you want to fucking race?" and shit like that. Yeah. And I just like Din looking over at him like, "What are you gonna fucking do?" Right? And that's when they spread the wings and we get into a dogfight. So
yeah, he's like, "Oh, that's what you're gonna do." Okay,
it's good stuff. I would say at this point we'll probably get a full trailer, like a 2.5 minute long deal, and then I think the TV spot floodgates will open, and that's pretty much what we'll live with until October 30th. So I think take it to the bank. My sources told me that there's going to be at least a full trailer before the season debuts on October 30th.
It's way out there. That's a really hard prediction to
throw
hold
it up. Let's go. Who's a good Redditor? Put it up there right now. Tell them Star Wars Time Show sources.
We can't put anything on.
Yeah, we can't. We need an army that KRT has that just sits on fucking Reddit all day and posts everything they either put on Twitter or their YouTube channel.
Yeah, I need one of you fans to take this image of the contested image of the ship behind them on Ilum, and then do a in-depth breakdown of these are the markings on the Razor Crest that we can see in the other image.
And this all came from, just make sure you say it came from Star Wars Time Show.
Yeah, so
that's all that matters. We don't want you to get the credit. Make sure we still get the credit. But good stuff there. We also got a new poster. I forgot to pull that up. It's like we've shifted color palettes, right, Nick? We went from
it's more of
the
cool
brown
tone.
and warm to a cooler temp. Even the trailer reflected that. So bravo. Yep. Who knows why it released today? It could have been because of there were some images floating around. I knew Super Scoundrel sent us the leak. I guess some guy was playing around on the Disney Plus app on his Xbox and hovering over the Mandalorian season 1. It was starting to show the title cards for season 2 stuff. Really? And a lot of the images were from the trailer. So, I mean, a lot of times companies will be like, all right, fuck it, flip the switch. Either way, my prediction paid off. I am a Star Wars god.
Yes. Leaker extraordinaire, Matt Haywood.
Thank you. All right, dude. We still got a few more topics before the fandom, the Star Wars Time Show fandom. I know that's why most of you come here, or at least came for the Mando until I yelled at you for your opinions and then you left. Hopefully Star Wars Daily News doesn't think I was being a jerk. We're just exchanging opinions. But we actually got, I guess this stuff is legit, right? Because the next stories we have are from Star Wars actors, and we're going to start with this deal on the Kenobi series.
Yes.
Because Mr. Ewan is out there. Nick, I don't know if he's promoting something, but he was talking to ET Online.
Yes.
And they asked him about Kenobi. Is it real? What's happening? Have you done anything yet? And he let loose I think we're going to start shooting spring of 2021. He's super excited about it. I've read other anecdotes where he's more excited to do this than he was the prequels.
Yes. He did mention that in a previous interview. Okay. And I think it was primarily the reason for that is because of the amount of technology, working in the volume in particular.
Yeah, he's not going to have to fake everything.
Yeah, with the prequels, he was like, yeah, it was cool, and we were doing this amazing thing, but it's we're always in front of green screen, and it was hard to, put yourself in the environment. And now with Kenobi, the series, we're in the volume, you're in the environment, and it's just a much more immersive experience. So that was his thoughts behind that. And for this, really, it wasn't much. It was just a confirmation of what had already been talked about, basically. So we have a potential start for filming spring next year, so spring 2021. which is a little bit later. I think the initial reports were a January 2021 start for filming.
Yeah.
It may have been delayed due to COVID. It may be delayed due to many other factors.
According to the article, Nick, they're supposed to start January 20,201.
So yeah.
So we're talking like when there's no humans left on the planet. And you may be right, the way Disney kind of runs this license now. Maybe that is their planned start date, 20,201.
They're just making sure they have Star Wars content for the next 20,000 years. So, just essentially a delay in effect.
Did you find his confirmation that it's standalone to be that revealing? I mean, that's pretty much what it's been reported on from the get-go. Is it just fan wishful thinking?
I think it is. For me, it was more fan wishful thinking because of the way that he has stated. He says, as I understand, it's a standalone season. We'll see. Who knows? And kind of the way that I took it was, in my opinion, one of the only actors to have finished Star Wars and then still be like, I really fucking love Star Wars, has been Ewan. Like, Ewan's the only one, aside from like some of the bit players and then, Mark Hamill.
Well, even Natalie, I mean, she hasn't come out and just shit all over, but she's done some fun stuff with it. Wasn't it recently she did some Saturday Night Live sketches?
Yeah, SNL. She had done some SNL
Don't fuck
sketches
with the prequels
previously.
And stuff like that. No, you're right, though. I mean, but he's also the one that didn't get his balls stepped on nonstop.
It's true. Like, everybody was generally pretty favorable towards Ewan.
And he had some fucking clunker lines too, but for some reason he figured out how to maneuver through that shit script.
We're Jedi. We're smarter than them. There were some
that
really bad ones.
Janky ass wig in the second movie. It's like, what the fuck?
I don't know why they decided he needed to.
Why
have
did Jedi turn into hillbilly white trash after they become Jedi Knights? Like they lose their Padawan braid, and it's like, well, no, now you have to grow a mullet.
It's like when you were a kid after high school. I don't know about your high school, but mine, we weren't allowed to have facial hair. So like we had to stay clean shaven.
And Louisiana? How the fuck?
I went to an all boys Catholic school.
Oh, okay. So, wow, I had no idea you were indoctrinated like that.
Oh yeah, all boys Catholic school.
And you still go to church every Sunday, right?
Clean shaven. Oh yeah, every Sunday I'm in the church pews.
Yeah.
No, but after that, I whipped a beard. I still whip facial hair, but it's like after, a long period of time where they're like, you cannot do this. It is against the law. It is against the laws of this school. It's just a natural
reaction.
Yeah. You just go the other way. So, but the way that I took this is that he would definitely be down for more.
Of course.
If they were like, hey, Kenobi did really well, we feel like we can take this other places, let's go, and he would be down. And
well, Nick, this is another deal where sometimes you have to question the powers that be at Disney. Like, why chop out your legs already and just stand alone, fuck it. Why not do the 4 episodes, see where the story goes, see what the reaction is, and then keep it going? I mean, This is TV. This is fake storytelling. They could take a week of Obi-Wan's life and turn it into a 10-season show.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's what they did with 24. The show.
Every one day.
Season was a day. And that would be fucking 20 episodes per season.
Right.
Like, you can definitely make this to where
you know what I mean though. Like
time.
they Kathleen and Bob when he was there, and just Lucasfilm Disney with Chapek, the new guy, whatever the fuck his name is. They make these grand statements that kind of just rips the rug out from under them for future stuff. Skywalker saga's over. You're never gonna get anything Skywalker related ever again. Fuck them all. Okay.
Yeah, but
what does that mean?
Now, like, you're having this new show pop up right in the middle of the Skywalker saga.
Right.
But I mean, here's the thing, and I think that Disney knows, Disney knows that, like, hey, we'll play this as it can be a standalone, but if we think that this has legs, we can make more. And that's the way that I position this.
I hope so. I mean, hopefully they're willing to kind of balk at some of their early claim stances, mantras here, because if this is done right, this could overshadow The Mandalorian just because of the people. the character.
Of the play, yeah, exactly.
The time, the place, the players in this show. I mean, they are core Star Wars. It is the meat of Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, you are going to have the potential to see another completely digital version of Tarkin. We know that Anakin Skywalker is going to be in it to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, people are talking about Commander Cody may show up. It's kind of resolved that relationship.
Endless possibilities. I mean, some of these rumors that we've heard for Mando may not even be for Mando. They may be for Kenobi. Like,
how dare you?
It would make a ton of sense to see clones in here. Like,
yeah.
And
milling around, dying off. I mean, it's not like their chips just blew their heads off. I mean, they either just aged out in accelerated fashion, or who knows what they're doing. Maybe some of them did go rogue. Maybe they were like, "What the fuck did we just do?"
Yeah. So I think that a lot of this, a lot of the hype that is around Mando is going to surround Kenobi when it actually has a firm release date. And rightfully so. I mean, there's a lot of potential.
I mean, who knows what next year is going to bring with all the shit we're dealing with. But if they actually do get this done in spring, there's a great chance this could drop fall 2021.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because Mando S2 finished principal in March.
Right before.
Right, like literally, I think they said 5 days before the lock. And they got it done, and they hit the month. I mean, who knows if October 30 was always the day, but October was always the month. They hit it. Notice all the other Disney shows did not hit. I mean, Winter Soldier is supposed to be hitting. The WandaVision or whatever the fuck that was supposed to be out by now.
Yeah.
So if they get these Star Wars shows going, from what they've learned with the volume, the screens, I think they can get the shoot done in time to have a season, especially if it's only 4 episodes, ready to roll fall 2021.
Exactly.
So, take it to the bank, throw it at the wall. I'm just pulling out all sorts of motherfucking leaks. The source is in my mind.
It is in his brain. Right. That is.
We're not done with Kenobi talk yet, and no, not the series, but the character himself, and that is thanks to one Daisy Ridley. Very lovely young lady who is probably bored like most actors and actresses these days. And she was talking to her buddy Josh Gad. They did a movie together. He's a good guy. If you don't know who he is, he's what's his name?
Olaf.
Nickel Dick.
He's Olaf in Frozen.
That's what I was looking for. I couldn't remember it, so I just went right to Nickel Dick.
Yeah.
But they kind of did an interview because Gad's been taking over for Kimmel. Kimmel took the whole summer off because he's a rich motherfucker. But they, Gad, he's a big Star Wars fan. He's done some other bits with Daisy to try to get her to divulge information about the sequel trilogy when that was going on. But they kind of had a talk, and they were talking about Rey's parentage, Rey's bloodlines. Mm-hmm. And Daisy kind of let loose. Again, this goes against what Disney was telling us all along, that Palpatine was always planned, this, that, and the other thing, that really up until even shooting, JJ really didn't know what he was going to do with Rey's heritage. It sounds like he clearly was never just going to leave it at nobody. He felt like he had to tie it to a royal Jedi or Force user bloodline. But initially it was going to be, he was going to work out a Kenobi tie. I
feel like, in my opinion, if JJ had all three, that could have worked out in a really great fashion. And you can see he was going for that in TFA. I mean, just go back to that Force vision she had when she touched the Skywalker blade. The most prominent voice there was Kenobi.
Right.
And it was
These
both
are
Alec,
your first steps.
And it was Alec and it was Ewan. So he was like, that essence of her Kenobi bloodline still lives in that movie. And I think the problem that happened was there was no easy way to bring that back for Tross, and there was no impact that could have been had by her being a Kenobi in that movie.
Right.
So he's like, well, what do we have? Like, what can we do? And I mean, Disney can feed you any line that they want to, that Palp was playing the whole time. We know that's not true, because even JJ had come out and said, like, it was after a meal, a sit down with George, that George said, like, well, who's been the bad guy this whole time? Like, who who has always been there as the driving evil force in the galaxy throughout the movies, and it was Palpatine. Like that is documented.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this at length. You and I talked before we came on. The Palpatine to me is the worst option. I think it's awful. It's what we got, whatever. I'm not going to talk about it. My favorite is still Rey from Nowhere. Like I like that. I like that idea that you don't have to be a motherfucking Skywalker or a Palpatine to be strong in the Force. The next one, and this is one that I even did a video on before TLJ came out, and Nick was riding this all through TFA before TLJ too.
I was riding it from the very beginning before TFA released.
Right. Rey being a lost Solo would have been nice as well. Like either, a bastard child of Han and a Force user or Leia and somebody, or like I think my spin was, that Rey and Ben have such a large age difference that Leia, by the time Rey was born in secret, already knew Ben was lost. Yeah. And didn't, just like Obi-Wan and Yoda didn't want the Emperor and Vader to get a hold of the Skywalker twins. Leia was like, you know what? This is going to be the hardest thing I'm going to have to do as a mother, but I need to ship this little girl out of our fucking lives. Han can't even really know she has been born or where she's going, this, that, and the other thing.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that was that was my number one.
Yeah. The one we got is ultimately the worst. I like the Solo idea, as you said, with some time and massaging. The Kenobi would have been very interesting. I still like the Rey from Nowhere because it kind of sets up something different for Star Wars and it honors what TLJ was trying to do. But here we are. I mean, it is what it is. It's nice to kind of learn these things, but it might leave a little salt in your mouth. Like, why? Like, why?
I just don't think that
Palpatine, Sith Eternal Zombie Man. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like, I mean, again, Palpatine was George. Like, if you want to hate somebody for the Palpatine, hate George Lucas. Like, that was literally his idea.
I mean, he gave us the prequels, and I don't hate him, so I'm not going to hate him for that. Yeah. But if that's the story, then sometimes you got to wonder, like, what the fuck is George doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's
not that is good. That's not really good storytelling.
Often been asked of George Lucas,
because ultimately it shits on the culmination of his 6 movies. It does.
Yeah, I mean, and look, if he would have had the opportunity to make the sequel trilogy, then maybe I think he would have probably worked the Palpatine angle if he was going to do that from the beginning, right. Like made it more obvious that like Palpatine is still here.
Of course. Like, I mean, there's ways to do the Palpatine thing right, but we've talked about this. They didn't do much right with this trilogy.
Yeah. So I feel like with a unified vision that you're working through from the beginning, anything could have worked better than how it eventually played out. Like, you could have had the Palpatine angle
Rey,
work better.
You're a Palpatine.
You could have had many things work better if you would have just had a cohesive vision through the whole thing, but we didn't. That's not what we got. We didn't get a cohesive vision. Like, I would have been fine if JJ had all 3, or Ryan had all 3, or Colin had all 3, and the story was Palpatine is still alive and she is a descendant. And if that's the story you're telling from opening moment to end, then I feel like
there's ways to make it work and be really good.
Yeah, you have essentially 8.5 hours to sell me that, plus maybe 9 hours. And basically what happened was you took 2 hours and 25 minutes to try to sell me that she was a Palpatine, and it just wasn't enough time. Like, you did not have enough.
It never feels authentic. It feels weird. It cheapens her. It even cheapens Palpatine. It cheapens Vader. It is weird. Whatever. It gets me sad the more I talk about it. So we've been droning on for almost 2 hours now, but it's that time, my friend. It is that time. No Rey Kenobi. She's Rey Palpatine, Rey Skywalker, whatever the fuck you want to call her. Probably never see her again. But it doesn't matter, because we are moving into the infamous, the iconic, the undeniably awesome Star Wars Time Show fan segment. And no, it's not just the heaping praise upon all of you Star Wars artists out there. It has grown into something much larger. Not only do you get to see some amazing Star Wars fan art, be it toy photography or real-ass paint. But now you have the chance to be featured on the show yourself. That's right. We have our question to the fan segment every week. Nick drops a question on Instagram and asks for you to answer it. And if we like your answer or we think your answer is really stupid, we will read it on the show and let you know if you're smart or stupid. We are not, this is not a good segment for your self-esteem. Okay?
True.
We also, in this segment, do Nick's battle bracket updates. All right, we're in the battle bots right now, so he's going to give us update on the battle of infamous Star Wars droids. We've had a few more bouts out there, a few more winners, a few more losers, so we'll cover that too. And then we will wrap with the bread and butter. Yes, the top 5 Star Wars fan art features of the week. So if you want to get in on the fan segment, if you're new to the show, hopefully we do have new listeners here and there. Otherwise, I'm just essentially saying the same thing over and over again to the diehards. But if you want to get in on this fun, top 5, tag us. Hashtag Star Wars Time Show on Instagram and tag the account at Star Wars Time Show, and you'll be set. Follow, turn on notifications for us. Nick usually drops the question of the week Sunday, Monday. Top 5 selections go out Monday or Tuesday, depending on how much he's drank.
Yes, right. That was pretty much it.
Last night he had a few too many whiskey shots.
Yes, we have a mixology. It's like a bartender set now. I got it for Taylor's birthday. So we've been making Manhattans.
That's what Nick does after the show. Like if he doesn't have any contract work, he just starts mixing drinks until next Tuesday.
Whiskey sours and Manhattans until I pass out.
Then he goes to bed by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let me switch the screens around here. We'll get the old Slack up. Guess I should have prepped this before. Slack.
Prep work is not our favorite.
No,
work,
hell no.
So.
Fuck that shit. Who does that? All right. She's up. What do you want to start with? Question of the week? Because that's kind of how you had it loaded, or do you want me to scroll down to the battle bot?
We can just go question of the week first, and we will give our battle updates.
Any spelling errors this week? Let me see.
Check it out for me, because there may be.
All right, so here's a question Nick prosed, and we got some good answers. I can't wait to read Darth Nihilus. It was a great one. At this point, he's essentially writing scripts for me. So we'll see how that goes. But the question is, what is your favorite non-Skywalker saga piece of content? Which is tough if you really think about it. So think movies, games, TV series, books. Why?
Basically, because I know that Joe Klondike asked about, is this considered Skywalker or not? So I consider Skywalker saga content the movies, like 1 through 9.
Okay.
So like Clone Wars, I wouldn't consider Skywalker saga content, even though the main character is Anakin. But mostly I'm talking about the 9 movies.
Interesting.
So first up, a good response here in our stories from Scissor Me Xerxes, and that is, he says the Darth Plagueis novel by James Luceno, and he says, no, I do not consider it to be part of the Skywalker saga.
Agree.
This book is a saga unto itself. So yes, I agree with you. So anything for me, anything outside of the 9 numbered films.
I love it. Keep reading this. This is good.
Yeah, he says, the novel masterfully takes the jumbled mess of ideas that are TPM and AOTC and makes the whole chain of events actually make sense.
Wow, that'd be nice.
Spanning over 30 years, we get to see the Sith Master plan go from a vague concept to Plagueis and Sidious making it a reality. It shows the 2 Sith convincing Sifo Dyas to order the clone army, fanning Dooku's disillusionment of the Jedi Order and generally clowning on the Jedi Order and the Senate in every way. Plagueis and Sidious do all of this while leading double lives and being insanely outnumbered by their enemies. Not to mention that this book has the most badass Darth Sidious action scenes / massacres of all time. Lastly, even though it's no longer canon, which is true, it's not canon anymore, it's legends, none of the new canon stuff contradicts any of the events of this novel, and the audiobook is narrated by the best voice imaginable. I don't know who does
Ian do it? Does McDiarmid read the book?
Let me see who does it.
I would assume that's what he's going at, because, otherwise that's a pretty ominous comment, but I would assume he does it then. I don't know, man. I obviously words and shit aren't my thing, but it does sound fantastic. I mean, anything that can try to make the prequels make more sense sounds good to me.
It's always welcome. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I like this final season of Clone Wars and the Clone Wars in general. It made the prequels seem relevant.
It had, at one point it was free on like if you have an Amazon Prime subscription. It was one of like the free Prime books you get, and I believe that I still have it. So I may have to go back and read it. It was narrated by Daniel Davis, so it was not narrated by Ian McDermott himself.
Gotcha.
But
it's a good one.
Apparently
good reply there, Scissor. Way to go.
I mean, and like, again, like, it doesn't have to be canon content or anything like this. Like, this is a novel that I've wanted to read for a very long time that I admittedly still own and have not read yet.
Lucino did some good stuff back in those days.
Yeah, he did. He was great, especially in like later in the canon with your Legacy of the Force series. Very, very good writer. Very good.
All right, up next. Do you think this is a play on Grief Karga, this name?
Yeah,
Grief Cardboard.
I
fucking love people. I wish I could be as imaginative of people on social media. Like Grief Cardboard. I love it.
Yes.
New canon Thrawn, specifically the first book Thrawn. I like this version of Mithra Naruto, and his intro into the Empire was great. I'm also about 2/3 through Chaos Rising, and this book is great. It really dives into the Chiss military and politics.
Yeah, I've said this multiple times for those of you who are fans of the old EU and are now kind of crestfallen because it no longer is considered canon. This is the way you get into it. Like, if you want to get into new canon, new expanded universe novels, go with Thrawn, because it's still Timothy Zahn. He has resurrected this character perfectly with the original, like with the new original trilogy of Thrawn and then Treason, or Thrawn and then whatever the other two. Treason's the last one. I can't remember the name of them. Alliances, Thrawn Alliances, and then Treason. And then now with Chaos Rising, like Grief Cardboard says, you get this in-depth look at the Chiss ascendancy. It's really great.
I want to make that my next fantasy football team, the Grief Cardboards.
I think I accidentally caught him twice because he responded to both the story and he responded to the actual post itself. So I'll delete
this one's mine because this comes from our buddy Star Wars Toys 73, aka Bossajan, aka Darth Hideous.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Fuck you guys. Star Wars Time Show is my favorite non-Skywalker content. The winner right there. This guy, ding, ding, ding. Someone send him a fucking trophy.
Aces.
But here he goes. Second is the Thrawn novels. I'm assuming Rogue One is Skywalker since it's got Vader and Leia in it. So fuck you guys. But then so does the Thrawn book. Fuck you guys. Movie is Rogue One. Book is the first Thrawn. Comic is Son of Dathomir. Game is BF2. Podcast is fuck you. So
that is a very classic.
Well, thank you, Bossajan. We love you too, buddy. I know that was sent with nothing but love.
Yeah,
I understand how you talk because I'm kind of the same way. I talk like a drunken sailor most of the day. But no, that was a good one there. I like how he kind of tackled that, and I like how he gets it. The more Star Wars Time Show dick you suck, the more attention you get.
100% true. So good story responses there. We're moving on to our post responses. So one from Nostalgic Adam here says, KOTOR, anything from that era. Some of my best memories are when I was growing up.
That's definitely non-Skywalker content, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely not. So KOTOR 1 and 2 on it.
And those are games at this point in time, someone just redo them. And them and just use the Ghost of Tsushima engine. Thank you. Next.
So I think there was, because like with these old games, what usually happens is you have modders or independent designers that just start to do it on their own.
Right.
And like they had a guy I remember a while ago who was remaking KOTOR 1 in Unreal 4, Unreal Engine 4.
Is he doing like a straight clone, or is he
a full game remake?
Right. And I would take that. Like, I know some people are like, oh, why not try some more modern types of game design? I'd be like, I don't fucking care. Just make KOTOR 1, but with 2020, 2021 game tech.
Yeah. So it got nuked, though.
Of course, Lucasfilm doesn't fuck with that shit.
Lucasfilm shut him down.
I mean, Nico in here is getting cease and desist for selling Star Wars toy photography prints.
I mean, dude, it's sad because I would have really liked to see that. So they shut it down at the end of 2018, but the guy had been working on it for a while.
Bunch of dickheads.
At least 2 years. And the guy, I don't know if it was a real studio or if it was something else, but the guy said, this was his quote, Lucasfilm has shut down Aperion, the ambitious Unreal 4 remake of BioWare's classic. He says, it's with great sadness today that I'm posting this. I recently received a letter from Lucasfilm instructing Poem Studios, so that was him, to end the production of the remake. After a few days, I've exhausted my options to keep it afloat, but we know that this was a possibility, and it shut down.
Nick, here's what I'm going to say. Like, obviously, this person, his team, they're pretty smart fucking people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know a software developer, you probably don't get it, but they're some of the most intelligent motherfuckers on the planet. They literally know how to tell machines what to do. Okay?
Yeah.
How does someone with this level of intelligence spend all those man hours doing something that anyone with common sense knows is going to get shut down?
I don't know,
on what
man.
fucking planet do you think you could take the Star Wars license, do what you want with it, and then give it to people? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know if, like, he thought he could just, like, what really happened was he was doing it under the radar by himself, and then it got out in the news.
Yeah.
Like, the people started making articles about it, like, look at this, it's gonna be fucking awesome. And then Lucasfilm caught on, and that was it.
I still wonder, like, I would think as long as you're fucking with something, you've paid for it, and you're not trying to redistribute or sell or make money, you would think that he would have been fine. So he must have been trying to market it in a way like, yeah, you guys are going to be able to play this at some point in time.
Yeah,
versus this is just a hobby of mine that I'm doing.
Yeah, a thing for me to do and play with. But I guess, after the press really started getting under it,
they cracked
down. They
still, what an idiot. So. I mean, great idea, but just stupid planning there. Okay, up next, Kaminoan Customs, Ewok movies, Caravan of Courage, and Battle for Endor. Hell yeah. Sindel, Tarek, people even remember those things?
Dude,
Wilford Brimley just died. I mean, that was one of my favorite Wilford Brimley roles, as he plays with Noah, right?
Yeah. He
had that little alien. What was the fucking alien's name? He could, like, run really fast. Did you watch these, Nick? I mean, these would have been... I watched
them when I was a young child because we had them on fucking...
Right. Like, I just always remember the one with Lord Sarek, or I think, Sarek's Star Trek. I think it was like Tarek and that witch that could turn into a raven. And Sindel was a little girl, and her family was like crash landing on the planet, and they link up with the Ewoks. There's Blurgs are in it. That's where Blurgs came from. Yeah, that was the
first time you saw Blurgs.
Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of a deep cut from Kaminoan Customs.
Yep. So good call out there. Next one up we have is Press Pause Photography. He says, ooh, good question. I'd have to go with Force Unleashed or Clone Wars if that counts outside of Skywalker Saga. Yes, it does. Specifically, Siege of Mandalore and Yoda's final arc in Season 6. So he was actually a fan of the lost chapters.
The lost missions or whatever they call it.
Yeah, because there were some good Yoda moments in there. There was that.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's got, I think, a 3 or 4 episode arc where he essentially goes and learns from Force beings about the Force. That's how he learns that Qui-Gon is still kind of mixing it up.
Exactly.
It's good stuff. Yeah. So I mean, Clone Wars is the shit. Force.
I mean, like that was like his first time going to Dagobah, I believe, was in that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've basically paused my Clone Wars rewatch for some reason. There's just so much fucking shit to watch. It's ridiculous.
It is. It's a lot.
And the wife and I, we're going backwards in time. Like I said last week, I mean, we're committed to The Sopranos at this point. So almost done with the first season. And then Force Unleashed. I mean, we've talked about this multiple times on the podcast. I mean, it's one of the better kick-ass games.
Star Wars games made in the last 20 years.
F-Stop Rebel. I'm currently reading Thrawn. A lot of words and shit people here. For the second time.
Tron, not Thrawn.
Oh, Tron. He must be in The Sopranos. Like, yo, I'm reading the Tron book. Right? So he's reading Tron for the second time. Jesus. I can't even play video games 2 times, let alone read a book twice. I love the intense development and focus on this character that was not featured or mentioned in the originals, yet fits in seamlessly. It gives you a look inside Thrawn's mind, which is really enjoyable. It reminds me of what I used to enjoy about the EU while reading something that is considered canon. So yeah, a lot of Thrawn bros and girls out there.
It's good shit, man.
I'm sure it is, but ain't gonna jive with me.
Got to get the audio. You got to do like Bossajan and just have the book read to you.
Holy shit! Look at this. We got a double. It's the commenting or the fan question all-stars tag team this one. Go ahead, Nick.
So Tones opens up with everything about Rogue One, from the story to the characters. This movie encompasses everything about Star Wars without it being a saga movie, quote unquote. It has such a short amount of time to introduce you to the characters and get you to care for them, but it totally succeeds. The ending is probably my ultimate favorite of any Star Wars movie made to date. I'm old enough to have seen all the Star Wars movies in the cinema, and I never thought I'd experience the thrill and exhaustion like I did when it came out. When I came out of A&H/ESB some 30 plus years ago, and R1 proved me wrong. So Rogue One right up there with ESB for me now, an absolutely outstanding movie. And then Action Figure New, one of our other commenters, has come in and agreed here. He says, I'd have to agree with this one. I thought Rogue One was so refreshing. I really love the more grounded aspect of it. Plus the fight on Scarif was so epic. Such a multi-tiered experience. Very engaging and a lot of fun to watch. Might be my favorite Star Wars movie.
And that's really, I mean, I think at this point in time, that is the general consensus. I think that, from the Star Wars fandom, even the trolls and the normal people, that Rogue One is the best thing Disney has put out so far.
Yeah, and I think that like when people talk about Disney, Star Wars, and everything like that, they conveniently leave that out. And I mean, but even like they leave out TFA, they leave out Mando, they leave out Clone Wars Season 7. Like people like to shit on Disney because yes, they did ultimately fuck up the last, the end of the sequel trilogy. But they put out quality ass work. They do all right. They're not batting 1,000, but they're not batting 100 either. So yeah, I mean, after you have to remember, like we wrote out TFA and then Rogue One, and people were like, Disney they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
Disney's like,
and then 2017 happened and everyone's like, ah!
Yeah. Like after TLJ came out is when shit really started to hit the fan. And then obviously the fan exploded and shit went everywhere at the end of 2019.
There's so much Star Wars poo now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I mean, I still hold on to the good memories and the good content that is out there. So.
All right, next one, another big one here. Jesus.
Yeah, so this is from
our buddy Lima. He's a Discorder.
Yes, he's in our Discord, and he goes. He says the Clone Wars for sure. The time period is set in.
This one's so long, Nick. You keep reading. I'm gonna go take my scheduled piss of the cast. Go ahead. I can still hear you. Yeah.
So it says the time period it is set in was the nexus for everything interesting in Star Wars lore. It had vestiges of the Old Republic, the Jedi, the Sith, and their dogmatic understanding of the Force. It also foreshadowed what was to come for the galaxy, seeds of the rebellion, the lawlessness outside of the Ivory Tower that was Coruscant, and a more eclectic understanding and practice of the Force. My cat's rubbing her face against the microphone, sorry. It was also a time where no one was really morally infallible. This made the series doubly interesting because if one would start to take a look at the motivations behind what people were doing, more often than not, you'd find, at least to some degree, that their intentions were justified or with good reason. It was not just black and white. Lastly, you all know how much I love clones. You see it in my photography. I think that comes from the fact that most people could easily identify with the average grunt just trying to do one's duty honorably, but at the same time feeling conflicted knowing that they were caught in between forces in a situation where the lines between right and wrong were almost completely blurred, as in real life. I mean, that was a very
Lima
detailed and thought out.
Is by far the most intelligent Star Wars Time Show fan we have. He's smarter than both hosts. Very well spoken. And this guy should be like a Star Wars psychologist.
Yeah,
with that breakdown. I mean, that is fucking that was like detailed analysis.
That was like a Filoni level breakdown of the vestiges of the old Republic, of the old the Republic.
Fantastic, man.
Dogmatic understanding of the Force,
deep shit.
Eclectic, using a lot of big words and shit in there. I feel like if
I'm surprised you could even read it. Like you're saying some of these words, and I was like, oh, I'm glad Nick's reading it. I'm taking the piss.
What is what is morally infallible? Wow,
I know what the fuck that means, but yeah, it sounds good.
But no,
that's good stuff. I like that. I like well thought out Star Wars fans are always good.
It is the Clone Wars is definitely one of those pieces of content, and at this point, it's more than just a piece of content. It is a necessary watch for Star Wars fans.
It definitely has become that with season 7 for sure. So I think that's it for our responses.
That is it for our responses.
Now we're going to get into a brief update on the Battle of the Bots before we round out and close out this episode 128 with our top 5 fan artist features. So there's the first one, Nick, just in order. It was the Battle of, I guess, compatriots. Seps, the Droideka, and the B2.
The Droideka and the B2, yes. So this was you and I talked about this one a little bit before the end of the show last week, but this is going to be hard for anyone to beat the Droideka out in this particular bracket, is what the general consensus is. And it was shown in this battle, 74% for the Droideka, 26% for B2. Our voter turnout is lowering week over week, so I think I may have to move away from these battle brackets after this one's done. I know,
dude, it's just, our account in general has lost most of its organic reach that we had for almost 2 years. I mean, I know what you mean. I mean, even the comments on the question were down. Maybe it's just an indication of how bad we truly do suck. I never know. Like, people are like, hey, you guys are interesting, and then we don't really get a lot of views on the live stream. We've been stuck at about 500 listens per episode for a couple months now. No new ratings on the podcast platform. So what is it?
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing is that it, people are seeing it. So you can see at the bottom of the screenshot.
They just don't give a fuck.
They just don't hit the button.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't make the extra click
we've worn out our welcome, my friend. I think the fans we get in the live stream, that's about it. I don't think we're going to grow much beyond what we garnered this lockdown period and by going on to Pandora. But hey, it is what it is. We'll take the fans that we got. They just need to start going out there and repping us like all these all the KRT people and the other sites that get thousands of listens and views.
Sweetie, my kitty cat is very much looking for attention right now.
I see.
But so, like I said, it was 44 votes for Droideka, 16 votes for the B2. So not a lot. Ellie, I need to move you, sweetie. You're going to knock my mic over.
The Droideka at this point is that's who's going to win it. That fucker won me gas last night. I mean, if it weren't for Droideka and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I would never have unlocked General Anakin.
I mean, he is
a very fucking man. He's a man.
The Droideka is nuts.
Yeah,
so I'll see if there's any notable voters for the B2 here. Baron's Black Series first up, Klondike Studios, Nico Tronis, Sir Dork, Miss Geeky Jim. There were quite a few notable voters for the B2 Super Battle Droid. Now I'd like you guys to explain yourselves a little bit.
They've all tuned out by now. I mean, I can see in the live stream statistics, I think we're talking to Greg, and that's it.
There we go.
At least on the live stream. We know our buddy Greg will at least stay tuned in. But you can literally, I almost need to take a screenshot of the graph going here that shows active listeners, and it's basically at 0 right now.
I think it's, once they tune in for a little bit.
Yeah, they hear what they want to hear, and they yell at me because they don't like this opinion or that opinion. Then they duck out.
They know that it's a long haul. So like we'll catch part of it on the live stream. We'll catch the next half on the podcast.
Yeah, all I care about is you guys not catching AIDS. So thank you.
Stay safe.
All right, so Droidica wins that one.
Next up, we have HK-47, our number 2 seed, versus L3 from Solo, our number 7 seed, and that was a pretty handy beatdown as well. 67% for HK-47, 33% for Leet. This was 40 votes to 20, so we're averaging like 60 votes on these here. Unfortunate for these two. And then notable Leet voters, because I'm only doing the losers for these. Notable Leet voters, there may not be any. Lights, Camera, Tentacles. Okay, Sir Dork again. Miss Geeky Jim again. Tones. Matt Jessup, Baron's Black Series. I feel like we have some underdog voters in here, and they've shown themselves. Baron's Black Series, Sir Dork, and Miss Geeky Jim are going to stick around, and they're going to vote for the underdogs. See if we can pull an upset here. But unfortunately, neither of the underdogs pulled out a win in this one. HK-47 moving on, as well as the Droidica.
I think that's the correct result, though. I do.
Probably so. I would agree with you there. So the results are now going to bring us into a K2SO versus an R2D2 matchup for one of our semifinals. Right. And then we're also going to have an HK-47 versus a Droidica.
I'm gonna guess that we end up with a championship round of Droidica and K2.
So you think that K2 is going to unseat the most popular droid here on R2?
I have a feeling. Well, now they just said it. I'm sure it won't happen. So I just ultimately changed the future right there.
Yeah, you may have just altered the timeline, but
hold on. Let me do a roll call here. I was sitting here bitching. They're still here. Look, it just popped up again. Big Amish 69. This is his first live stream. He's been listening on Pandora. That's amazing. Someone actually listens to the show on podcast platforms.
There we go.
Tones is still here. True Perry's up in it. Dr. Ball, Devin, Liam showed up. We found out where Liam was at, by the way. Young Liam.
Liam's got school, man.
Yeah, well, we knew that, but it was like 4 or 5 o'clock. We're like, where is he? And he's a soccer player. So
there we go.
He's out trying to catch COVID on the pitch.
But yeah, see, people stick. I think what happens is people just take a nap halfway through, and they wake up. They're like, "All right, they're still going."
I'm not gonna lie there. Like I had to piss really bad, and I was starting to lose focus. That's why I had to get up. Like I had to I had to divert, kind of like in Squadrons where you're diverting shield power to lasers.
Yes,
I had to divert some brain focus power to hold back my bladder, so I had to let it rip. Now I'm focusing again, and that's a good thing, Nick, because we are moving into the final segment of the show, and that is everyone's favorite segment, at least Twinkle Tits. And that is the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. As you know, if you tag us on Instagram, hashtag Star Wars Time Show, tag the account throughout the week. Every morning, I'll drop 12 of my most favorite tags. Who knows? I mean, at this point in time, the feature folder is approaching 200. You people are knocking this shit out of the park. There's more people using the tag, so fear not. I'm still putting out stuff from August from you, as well as new stuff from September. But that's the deal. I'll line up 12 shots a day. At the end of the week, my friend here, Chewbacca Caminita, he will look through all of those posts, and he will select 5 of his favorite to honor on an episode of the Star Wars Time Show.
Indeed.
And that's where we're at right now, buddy. So here's the top 5. Who we got?
First up, we have at Tuscan Milk Bar. I think he's been all of these have either been featured maybe one time before or
well, here's the deal on
Tuscan's
someone that just wasn't using the tag for whatever reason. I mean, this just happens. I know I shouldn't take it personally. I mean, Super Scoundrel's been forgetting the tag. because I'm a Star Wars narcissist, I feel like it's a personal dig at me in the Star Wars Time show. I know that's not the case. I'm trying to explain to you people I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I truly think Nick and I should be just as big, if not bigger, than some of these other fucking fan bozos that do this dumb shit in their free time. I am not kidding. I think it's a fucking crime we haven't popped. But I'm a realist. We clearly haven't popped for a reason, so we're not that great. But I do take it personally when I see accounts that did use our tag stop using it, or the bigger accounts that just never used the tag. I take it as an affront on myself.
They're insulting us by doing it. Right. Personally.
So take that however you want. It's crazy, but at least I can recognize my craziness.
Yes. So Tuscan Milk Bar here has a fantastic wartime. I like these wartime shots that we get with stormtroopers and Imperial officers. So what we see is I guess it's a squad of stormtroopers in a ditch, in a trench that they've dug. And it looks like one of the Imperial officers, could be General Veers, is kind of looking off into the distance, maybe scouting out a potential town that they're about to assault, maybe looking at their entrenched rebel enemies across from them as well. And you have all members of the squadron just kind of relaxing a bit. It's almost like the World War I, World War II days where you would hear stories of like entrenched enemies basically singing songs back and forth. I mean,
they're just pissing in a tin can and smoking a cig. Really, I mean,
yeah.
It's a good scene. I need to do some scenes like this. I mean, scenes with multiple figures do tend to draw people's eyes to them more than just a static portrait, which is kind of my go-to. I did a session this weekend with the Remnant Stormtrooper. Actually shared a shot last night. Didn't do shit, but hey, I put it out there, portrait, static shot. But what I'm saying, it's just a nicely staged scene. Looks like you got a little squirt of some atmosphere aerosol in there. Good posing. I do like the commander, and I think that's the Veers figure. In that background, kind of out of focus, it just ties the scene together. But I need to get out, get some fucking mud, and dig myself a trench, because trench scenes seem to be the way to go if you want to pack in a bunch of stormtroopers.
Papa. He's like, Papa, what is in your ditch that I need to have in my ditch?
I'll never be able to replicate Papa's ditch. I mean, that guy makes some magic. I'm not going to take the fucking time that he does to do that stuff. And that's why he's a mega account. I get it. I mean, in the end, I bitch a lot about things. I pretty much get the reaction I think I deserve these days. I mean, in 300 to 500, nothing I put out is really that dynamic. Let's be real.
He needs a spark of inspiration. Maybe Mando season 2 will
never
bring
gonna
it around.
Nick, it's the hobby's so broke for me now. It's work. That's how I look at it. It's like, I gotta do toys. So I fucked it up officially. But moving on here, we have some real ass paint.
Yeah, real ass paint. Actually, in 2 back-to-back top 5s coming up. But the first one here is from Republic.Forces on Instagram, and it's a really awesome clone, piece of art. And I feel like this may be like an actual hand-drawn thing, because if you look at, the shading, it looks like it's actually done with either like colored pencil, maybe like markers. Some of the lines drawn look like hand-drawn lines. So this is just a very well done portrait style piece of art of a clone trooper. And it's a red clone variant, so it's not like fully red armor, but it's got the red highlights to it, like a lot of the other clone units had their particular colors.
Yeah, these guys were the shock troopers, right? I mean, these are the ones that specifically stuck with Palpatine. They were on Mustafar to scoop up crispy Skywalker.
Yes.
But yeah, he did kind of add some, looks like gave him I don't know.
He's got like a knife holster up on his shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's got like a cool looking pair of suspenders on.
No, it's like, it's like right up towards his left shoulder, you have a knife holster. So you can pull out the knife. He's holding his pistol down in his left hand. And then with the right, you got the I guess it's the long gun kind of slung over the shoulder. It's just a really clean representation of a clone trooper from the Republic.
And I mean, anytime we get real ass paint, it's sorcery to us.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of blows our mind.
And this one, I do believe this was a straight hand sketch. Looks like it might have been colored in with even markers.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know. It's just sharp. I mean, how do you fucking draw a line straight? I'm being serious. Yeah. I'm trying to teach my daughter how to, some penmanship, which is kind of an oxymoron because I can't write. Like my handwriting is straight diarrhea. It's always been bad. I mean, I remember in second grade, my teacher yelling at me like, "Hey, Matt, if you don't hold the pencil right, you're going to write like shit the rest of your life." And she was correct. If you're on the live stream, see how my wrist is bent? This is how I hold a pencil to this day at 40 years old. I basically write like I have a crab claw for a hand.
I know a lot of people who do that.
Okay. It's just,
I'm like
and then when I do that, and I can barely even write coherent words anymore. And it's a combination of just poor handwriting, and my brain has no tolerance for writing out words anymore. It takes too long. Like I'll just text it. I'll type it. I need keyboard. Keyboard's quicker.
That's the thing is like, I'm so out of practice writing that like sometimes I'll be like in the middle of writing something in cursive and I just forget what I'm doing. Like I forget how to do it. I'm like, holy shit.
Cursive?
And it takes me a second. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I don't even think they teach that shit anymore.
No, they don't, from what I understand.
But I'm sitting here like my handwriting is maybe one step above my 4-year-old daughter who's still has really poor, like nothing straight. Everything's wonky, coloring like she's going to be a psychopath. Like there's no in the line shit. She's like, and she's like, I think she's going to be like me in that department where, we're somewhat intelligent, but the art stuff just didn't carry over.
Yeah,
like it's just not there.
But, so for this Republic Forces' piece, it is a drawing, so it's a custom drawing. He says, in this particular drawing is of Trace, so this is the named clone trooper Trace, and the reference pic that he used was actually from one of our multiple time features, Operators of the Republic. And
that's right. I forgot that was in the initial caption.
You're right. I mean, the initial caption is really awesome because he actually did use the Star Wars Time Show hashtag. Which is good because we know he's a listener and a follower. Or
he caught the virus or the Star Wars Time Show virus from somewhere. And he says we're slowly permeating to people that weren't keyed in from the start. But it's the speed will never be to my liking. It's never enough for me. I just keep giving me more. It looks like I was just shoving two big dicks in my mouth on the camera. Yeah. So.
But it's awesome. It's awesome to see because he uses our tag and he says, "I was inspired to take my art and drawing to the next level by some amazing artists here on Instagram." And he tags like Super Scoundrel, Operators, and some of the other artists that we've featured on our page and stuff. So really awesome to see him using the hashtag, calling out some of the big artists that we featured on our page. So awesome stuff. Republic.Forces, 1,800 followers now. Hopefully he gets some more, deservedly so, because he does some really amazing work. So at Republic.Forces on Instagram.
Just real quick from the Peanut Gallery, we got young Liam, who is going to start taking some digital media courses. I'm guessing Photoshop and some other Adobe products. So Liam, give yourself about 6 more months. You'll be blowing most of us out of the pond, pal. But that software sucks. Get ready to stab your eyes out.
Photoshop is a very powerful tool. If you can get good with it, like I used to know how to use Photoshop because I took courses when I was in college and I just haven't been able to use it recently. I don't have a version of it. Haven't had a version of it.
They went to that subscription bullshit, which exactly. I think is vomit. Like these software companies are jobbing us all because of other subscriptions that we're just used to now. Yeah, it's insane. What is it? To get the full Adobe suite? Devin, I don't know. I'm assuming you have it, or if you paid for it in quotes, I believe it's like $300 to $500 a year.
Yeah, it's expensive, and you used to be able to buy like a creative suite.
Yes. For
like that amount.
Yeah, to be like CS6 or whatever, and that's yours. And if you want to upgrade, you upgrade. Now you literally have to just subscribe, and I guess they give you minor upgrades throughout the year. I don't like it. But yeah, you get good. I mean, if I learned it too, I probably could do a lot more. It'd probably open up my imagination. But I am finding these days, I am becoming not a dinosaur of tech. I mean, I'm never going to be one of these old people like, oh, what's that machine? And they're talking about a computer. It's software that makes no sense.
It's harder to keep up with.
It's insane. Like its menu system is fucking nuts. The terminology is fucking nuts. I hate it. Why are we talking about it? Let's move on to the next piece.
Next piece is from Kylie Ann Art at Kylie KYLEEANNART on Instagram, right. And she has a beautiful portrayal.
Amazing. It is. Oh my God. Like I want Nick. You know how I feel about this alien species.
Oh yes.
I want to lick my screen right now.
So
I just want to give her a kiss. Like this is a saucy looking Ahsoka, real ass
Rebels
paint.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, like season 7, Mando geared up Ahsoka, just looking like a queen.
Yeah, I mean we've seen many beautiful portrayals of Ahsoka in real ass paint form from many different featured artists. This might be my favorite because it is so realistic in the way that she is portrayed. And then all of the tiny details, like the creases in her leku coming off of her head, like the cut details, the tone in her arms, and just
the hue of the sabers reflecting off her back and her hips, just the overall smoothness. Like Devin's still in here. Devin, we need some real ass paint insights.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here? I mean, is this like? I'm assuming this is all digital. I don't think this is vector based. This is the magic, right? This is the sorcery Nick and I talk about.
Yeah.
But Kylie Ann Nick was following us. She just doesn't tag us. So I found her in Explore. I try to go to Explore a couple times a week just to either find a brand new account or just some accounts that we've been missing that don't tag us. And yeah, I know I sound like a shithead with the tagging us. A lot of it is we just won't see your stuff because of Instagram. I mean, I try to follow some accounts to follow us. We just won't see it. I love seeing this type of stuff. So I know sometimes I sound like an asswipe, but use the tag. Kylie, please look at this thing.
Yeah.
This is as beautiful as it gets. I think one of the best looking real ass paints. I love how that's how we talk about it now. Like we sound like the biggest degenerate morons.
Yeah, just like Neanderthal can't even come up with.
Did you hear what I just came out of my mouth? This is one of our best real ass paints. Like, what does that even mean? If you've never listened to this show, you would probably tune out immediately and be like, "Is this guy okay? Is he special? Is Nick co-hosting with a slow adult?"
Oh man! So Kylie also, if you go to her page, she does commissions, and she also has specially created enamel pins that she has created and made.
Oh yeah, look at those
herself.
Check that out.
They're beautiful work, available for pre-order September 25th. So check out at Kylie KYLEEAN Arts on Instagram, KYLEEANNART, not arts, art on Instagram. Well, I always try to call out if the particular creator has any sort of shop or they do commissions. So this is one that does do commissions. Beautiful work.
And it looks like, I mean, I'm on her page because Nick was, and she deserves to have more stuff shown off. But it looks like, I don't know if she took inspiration from that Jake Bartok guy we've talked about, or I've featured a few times. Yeah. He did like a medieval or a fantasy play on Star Wars. It looks like she picked up on that. She did a Rex that looks really fucking cool. He's got like some badass like war paint on.
The Commander Wolf that almost looks like a Stark from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's awesome looking too. She's got a Mando. It's beautiful art. I mean, who the fuck knows the style? We're never going to learn that type of shit. We just know what looks awesome, and this is badass. So, Kylie, if you listen, thanks for following us, I guess. If you remember, please tag the account or use the hashtag Star Wars Time Show.
Yes, beautiful work here by Kylie Ann. So, well done. Next up, for the top 5, we have at Hixel, at HIXXEL on Instagram.
I knew what shot this would be because, I think Hixel's been featured before The account doesn't post Star Wars that much, but I knew when I saw your lineup today that this would be the one from Hixel. It's because of that fucking face, right?
It is, dude. That face. So what we see here is Darth Vader in the background, but he's doing his good old force choke maneuver on a rebel soldier that may have been captured from the Tantive 4, but who knows? And the face of the rebel trooper, he's like on his knees. He's clearly in agony, and the face is nuts. It's like this crazy, like eyes wide, mouth open, aghast, and then out of the mouth you see the comic book bubble. And that is really what the focus of the shot is, and what made it a top fiver is just this. Right. Like, so what is this face?
Okay, like, so I'll kind of give you some insights into this. I don't know the exact face, but we did learn through our Discord. It was Spencer, I believe, Spencer Barron, or Barron's Black Series, or whatever the fuck his account is, I forget. But he was showing us that a lot of the, I think the Figure Arts WWE figureheads work really well on the Rebel Trooper's body. Because he bought a bunch of Stone Cold Steve Austin faces that look equally as funny in the Rebel helmet. Because they're very animated because they're wrestling faces, so they're like doing moves, so their mouths are open. This one, I have no clue who this Joker's face is. I'm gonna assume it's from a Marvel Legends character, maybe a villain.
See if he lets us.
But it works perfectly for the shot and getting force choked by Vader. And I'm one that, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of toy photography that has a lot of writing in it. I mean, sometimes people put their fucking watermark in a shot and it becomes the shot. I get wanting to protect your work, but putting big fucking like, hey, this is me. Your eye's going to go right there. The people are never going to see your art. They're only going to see your fucking name. But this one, I think the comic bubble is perfect. So
it achieves what he wanted it to. And if you go to his actual page and you click on this particular piece, he actually has two other variants of it. So he has one where it's a Rebel pilot, and then one where it's an Imperial officer.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. I'm guessing it is probably a Marvel Legends character head, but either way, it's funny as hell. I loved it.
It is.
Plus, he uses Chris Tucker's character from The Fifth Element as his avatar. So.
Oh yeah, so very top-notch stuff here at HIXXEL on Instagram. He's only got 716 followers, so let's boost the numbers up a little bit. See a little uptick. Very creative work done here on this shot, so well done at Hixel on IG. Last up here for the top 5, we have an excellent.
I forgot it's a Haywood Pop breakdown.
It's a Haywood Pop shot breakdown.
All right, we're almost out of here.
One of the the one I picked this week, I think, is one of your best.
I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, but we have a scene recreation here from ESB, and this is at Lensamenen, Lensamenen, LENSAMENAN on Instagram, and what we see is Luke and his father, his soon-to-be known father, Darth Vader, crossing blades here, and you could see it's in front of one of those Bespin windows, and you could see outside the eventual kind of open pit area that they're fighting in before Luke falls down.
Oh my God, Tone's left too. He would have liked that. It's right before Daddy flings his son out the window and tries to kill him.
Exactly. Yep. So you can see
normal parenting.
Blades. Yeah. And this is this hyper real Luke, or is this regular?
That's a regular. That's the recently released Dagobah or Bespin Luke, I guess.
Bespin Luke. Okay.
And that may be I haven't gotten it yet, but this may be the Empire Vader as well.
Okay. Awesome.
And I will tell you, for those of you that want to get super authentic on your lights for Vader, Vader's chest panel, like the two big buttons, don't light up. The only lights that light up are on his belt, the green and the red, and then on his chest panel, it's the 3 slit lights, and they actually light up randomly. Like the top one could be going and the bottom one, so they're not always on at the same time, but...
But the red and the blue do not light up.
They do not. At least not on my Hot Toys figure, and I usually take those as canon as they get. So
yeah, I was say as close to real recreation. Right. So I mean, the shot itself is really well posed. It's really
by the way, I'm not shitting on the guy for making that choice. So okay. I'm just telling you out that there are some purists out there, and I've had people comment like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." It's like, go fuck yourself.
It's like it looks cool. Sorry.
It does. It really, I'm not gonna lie. It does. They're lights. It makes sense. They should light up, but they don't. And I guess we could watch the movie to see if they do. But I typically take Hot Toys as a 1-to-1 replica of what you're gonna get from a film. So there you go.
Yep. And so the shot really has great posing. They're locked in with the sabers, but they're also locked in on each other with their gaze, with their, staring deep into, each other's face as they battle.
It's like a fighter weigh-in almost, right? Where they get up and they're looking at each other, getting ready to punch each other's faces out.
Yeah. A nice solid stare down for sure. And then you can see Vader's kind of got his hand, his non-saber hand already starting, in the Force grip, getting ready to start flinging shit at his son down this hallway. I just thought it was lit really well, kind of dark lighting. You get the reflection of the sabers off of both characters, especially in Vader's helmet. You see both the red and the blue. So well done there on that reflection.
He was just trying to introduce him to dodgeball. Right? If you can't dodge the Force, you can't dodge a ball.
Yeah, exactly. If you can dodge this huge pillar that I'm throwing at you, you can dodge a ball.
How'd they train him? He's throwing wrenches at him?
Throwing wrenches, yeah. If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Yeah. I do. Lens Menon, they always use kind of a darker tone, and then they soft proof it. At least that's what I'm calling this, because the image kind of has a tone to it, right? Where like some of the darks have a little lightness to it. I call it soft proofing because that is what it's called on my app. So I don't know if it's real or not. But typically, if I want a shot to have that tone, I will add a little soft proofing to it.
There you go. So Lensa Menon, as he has it on his page, 809 followers. So again, another a low follower account. So hopefully he gets a little bit of a boost here from Malaysia. I mean, we have artists from all over in this top 5. Hixel was from France. We have Lensa Menon.
Hey man, I'm not
going
to lie. We tend to get most of our new taggers, this, that, and the other thing from not the United States.
No, it makes sense.
We're huge in Indonesia. Huge.
Nice. Huge. I don't know why, but I'm glad that they're enjoying the show and enjoying the accounts.
Some French followers.
Yeah.
Where's our buddy Lima from? He's in the Philippines?
Lima's in the Philippines, and then Tones is in the UK. Yeah, we got I know UK. A lot of the other toy photographers that we feature from the UK as well. We have Brazil. We've featured people from Brazil, from Spain, from all over Russia. Like been from a lot of different countries. So I appreciate the global reach of the Star Wars Time Show Instagram account.
There we go.
And that brings us to the end of the top 5. But as you mentioned, Matt, this is a Haywood Pop Shop breakdown.
All right, here
we
go. I'm going to do the scroll.
Dude, I'm going to tell you.
All right. Yeah, you're not going to get much bitching out of this.
Love this shot because there's so much happening in it. So what we're looking at for those of you.
This is one of my more intense post-processing shots, if you will.
Okay, so tell us what we're seeing here.
All right, so
we're
looking at what the fuck's this guy's name?
Commander Pyre.
Yeah, we're looking at the Black Series Commander Pyre, the Golden Boy. It's actually a pretty slick looking First Order trooper, just because he's all gold with the black accents. But he's kind of posed in a way where he's getting ready to take a knee. You see him, he's shooting up at something that's off camera, and that something is also shooting at him. So to me, he's getting attacked from above, like a gunship's coming in, just blasting at him down on the ground. The way this shot was taken was, I believe his back ankle would have been tied to a wire, using the Sir Dork method. The explosions are real, but I believe this is a combination of 3 successive shots during one crackling ball blowing up. I just kind of stitched them all together to get more of the explosion particles in there. The dust coming up, that's practical as well. I can tell you right now, outside of blaster bolts and lightsaber effects, I don't fuck off. I try to capture as much as I can in frame when I shoot because I hate doing the post-processing. Now, the blaster bullets, it's just some random fucking JPEG file. I just use a different blending mode. I think screen, if you will. Those of you that are using photo editors, I think went with a screen blending mode. But the trick here, and my stunt buddy was the one that told me to do this because, you know, everything I do, he thinks fucking blows. So if he's going to help me on something, he's going to try to line or set it up the best way he can. But notice how I changed the size of the blaster bolts. So the ones further away from the subject are smaller to create a sense of depth. Where the ones closer to cam or focus are larger. And if you really want to see some of the ridiculous things I'll do with a shot because I listen to other people, I even have the blaster bolt on his bent leg reflecting off of his armor. I typically do not want to put this level of work into my shots, like post-processing. But it's one of the shots that led to my account kind of getting some juice for 6 or 7 weeks. It got featured on a Loom Cube Lit by Loom weekly recap segment.
There we go.
So yeah, this is going to be a hard one for me to shit on. Now, is this something I could go do again? Did I have this vision when I shot this guy? Absolutely not. I went outside and was like, oh, fuck, pyre, all right. Plopped him on my table. I was like, I got some fucking fireworks. I'll bend his legs this way. Okay, fuck it. Good enough. Get some wire, poke it in. Here we go. Now light up the firework, and hopefully the firework will sell the shitty pose.
I mean,
I got lucky.
It sells it beautiful. I mean, like this, like I said, this may be one of my favorite shots that you've ever done. But I mean, the one breakdown that you did a couple weeks ago, I think with the Palpatine shot, I was up there as well. But I mean, this is like top tier kind of photography. Like this is beautiful. Well, thank you, good
sir.
Work.
I don't, I'll take a compliment. And it is one of my better shots. But the problem with me when I look at this, it's like, well, why haven't I done something like this again? Why can't I get that thinking? Why won't my lazy ass go out to the table and just see what happens? I've realized I'm never going to be one of the master planners, builders, dio makers, the Jason B. Michaels, the Plastic Actions. These guys, nose reins, work more or less blacks, building these insane sets to shoot. It's just not going to happen. I mean, maybe when my daughter's older and she literally wants nothing to do with me and I'm just sitting down scratching my balls in the basement, maybe I'll start pushing myself again and getting out there and sucking it up. Like, no, you're going to go shoot and you're going to try this. You're going to do that and this. Maybe we'll get some more of these dynamic shots, but I haven't done something dynamic like this in probably almost a year. And it when I see this shot, while I do appreciate it kind of bums me out because I feel like I've lost some of the juice to try this shit out.
Yeah, it might just take, like you said, a little bit of extra time that you may have eventually. If Charlie ever goes back to proper school, you may have a little bit of that, but it's a conundrum at this point. She's 4. We've been together for months now. I want to try to maximize that time with her before 5 and then 6, and before you know it, she's gone. She's like, Daddy's a loser.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to sit by Daddy.
Right. But it has limited my time to just get out. I'm like, all right, I got 2 or 3 hours to do whatever. Instead of playing a game, I'm going to grab my background material, my light box, and some fucking figures, throw them in a box. Hopefully I have the right accessories, and let's just see what I can do on the table. Like there's no planning in the shots outside of, can I get out and shoot?
Yep.
Man.
So there we go.
Yeah, that's a good one. Bummed me out because now I feel like I need to do something solid. Like I need to do something dynamic again, something actiony. And really, where I live, Nick, I'm just, the more I talk about it, I'm just pissing the time away because it's going to get colder and colder to the point where I'm definitely not going to take my fat ass out in the cold.
Then you got to get those snow shots. You got to get those Ilum recreation shots with the Mando and baby stuff.
Yeah, I could finally shoot that snow speeder I've had for 2 months doing nothing with, or Luke and his Hoth pilot gear that I've done nothing with. So that's that. Good pick, Nick. This one didn't really depress me. Maybe it'll even give me a little motivation. And thank you to those in the live stream. This segment again isn't to kind of stroke my ego. It's more for me to shit on myself because that's what I like to do.
Yeah, Matt's more of a self-deprecator than a self-lover.
And one of these days, I know last week I said I'd get the graphic out to solicit shots for those of you who want to submit a shot for me to do essentially what I just did with my own shot. So that's my goal this week, to get that posted on Instagram. So those of you, if you're up for it, I'm not going to just take your shots and shit on them to shit on them. But if there's something a little wonky I see in it, I'll point it out. Or if there's something great, I'll point it out. So stay tuned to the @StarWarsTimeShow account on Instagram.
There we go.
But that's it, buddy. We're hitting the 3-hour mark. The fucking quarters are run out. The show is over.
My puppy's here. My puppy's telling me to get off the camera.
I see it. Nick's hairy family, the animal family, throughout the show has been coming in to save him. Yeah. It's as if like he's been locked in a room at gunpoint to do this show with me.
That's it. Sometimes they feel like that. They're like, Daddy is not paying attention to me. Daddy,
I know.
Why?
I know. There you go. All right. Well, while Nick's making out with his dog, let's go ahead and put episode 128 to bed. It is time for the dance. Give me a little shimmy. Give me a little shaking. And why are we doing this? I don't know. I just like the exercise. I'm trying to get more miles on my watch. I'm trying to get more activity. But in all seriousness, we're doing it for StarWarsTime.net. Yay! That is our home on the internet. That's where you can go and find all of our content, which isn't much these days because there's not a ton of stuff riffing around or coming out for the Star Wars universe. But that's going to change come October. You know, every Friday I'll be doing at least 2 videos for Mando episode breakdowns. There's probably going to be more information as the world starts to open up a bit more. And at this point in the United States, as Nick said last week, the virus is gone. We've all, or I'm not speaking for myself. I'm just speaking for. Holy shit!
I will go
check on that, Nick.
Was.
I'll close the show. I don't know if anyone heard that, but something huge just fell in Nick's house. So, anyways. We do the dance to remind you about StarWarsTime.net. That's where you can go and check out some of the posts we get out there. A lot of topics we'll be talking about on the show is on the site. But more importantly, you can get to the site and subscribe to our podcasts. Yes, we are on damn near every platform you can listen to podcasts on. So if you are new, we'd really appreciate a sub. But more importantly, if you're new or old or just lazy and old, we'd really love to get a rating and review on your podcasting platform of choice. If you are more into the live streams, you can also reach our YouTube channel from StarWarsTime.net over here on the sidebar. Just hit the subscribe button and get to it. Once you're subbed up, make sure to watch the videos, like the videos. It's huge. Click that little thumbs up. Comment if you feel like it. And then pass it on. You got to pass it on. It's all about spreading the word of the Star Wars Time Show. And why? Well, there's always time for Star Wars Time. I know this. Wherever Nick is, he knows this. And the Star Wars Time Show fando assholes know this as well. So if you are new, hopefully you stick around and join in on the fun. Or on the disaster that is the Star Wars Time Show. And besides, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.